I had to do it. I had to do it. I had to use that thumbnail for the for the man that lives in a very small room and gets upset that men, he says, calls them dresses when it's actually a skirt or a kilt. The man that lives in a very small room. So I put that picture up there so he could criticize the four strongest men in Europe. Doing, it's a shot put video I posted this morning. But there's a guy who lives in a very small living space. He gets upset when he sees men wearing skirts or kilts for whatever reason. They wear them. It's a lot more comfortable to wear that type of clothing than it is to wear shorts or something with an inseam that's going to rub against, the inside of your leg. It's maybe get a rash if you're doing a lot of walking or working. But I had to put that one up there in case he felt like rubbing one off. You know what I'm saying? It's like a free, it's free. So today, I got gonna show you. I was lost on the Pamlico Sound with the barge when I brought the barge from New York City to Florida. It's not like you read the charts, but then you get into the system. The waterway, the Pamlico. There's no buoys. And if there are buoys, you can't see them because the damn thing is foggy, so foggy you can't see from one buoy to the next. And I had lost my GPS in a storm, therefore I had no GPS. And I couldn't go by coordinates, so I had to look for buoys. I was in the Pamlico Sound. I'm going to tell you a little story about the Pamlico Sound. I'm going to tell you a story about Little Creek, Virginia, and I'm going to tell you a story about the Intercoastal Waterway. And I forgot, it's right after Little Creek, Virginia, and they have a bombing range. The Army and the different military services have a bombing range. For about 50 miles along the Intercoastal, there's nothing alive. Nothing at all. Nothing in the water that's alive. There were no birds. There were no trees that are alive. You could see, this is back in 1988, you could see the trees, but there's no leaves, no vines, no grass along the edges of the Intercoastal. 50 miles of pure nothing. Not a single bird. You won't see another boat on any kind of a pleasure cruise or anything like that. You'll see a boat zip by you to get through that section. But so whatever they use on their bombing range and the testing range, for 50 miles, there's nothing alive. No turtles, just nothing. The water is normal color, but everything is dead. I found that really strange. It was probably and and I didn't have the radio. I didn't have the radio on because I was conserving the pilot house battery. And that day I was in that bombing range, they were doing it. It said not to go on the Intercoastal between the hours of such and such and such and such, and I turned it on, and those were the hours, and that's where I was. So I kept looking around for planes and stuff. You could hear the bombs in the distance, but they weren't going to bomb me. But I was right in the middle of a test range for firing weapons, missiles, bombs, whatever they were doing. You could hear it off in the distance, and I didn't have the radio on. But that's not what that's not what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about when I got lost at sea. So when you look at the charts shows you that there's buoys, but there's no buoys. There's nothing for 100 miles. And I was in the Pimlico Sound, and I'm going to put the video on. Well, I'm going to put the video on whether anybody is here or not. See, I scared them all off because I call myself an alpha male, and I call everybody else a sissy. And I mean it. I mean it truly. I mean it. I truly mean it. You guys out there that have been criticizing me and everything, these are the people that don't want to watch the videos anymore because they got nothing. They got nothing to show for their little miserable little lives that they go around critiquing everybody on YouTube, but they don't show anything of their life of any value. So now people are not watching my videos because they don't want to see the kind of stuff that real men do, because it embarrasses them. Like that creep that is in Thailand with the prostitutes all the time, every day a different prostitute, every day the people are watching him 40 and 50 strong. People are sending him $50 super chats, $100 super chats, $30 super chats. But you know what? This is the kind of mentality that the world has been reduced to. And that other creepy friend of his, Rich, you guys come. You guys come. I'll show you a little Barge dragon personality. So, and the creep in and I really mean that he's a creep. I mean he's a low class in every way, shape, or form. His family has to look at him as a total embarrassment, more so than the creep that lives in a 4x6 box, more so than that even, because how do you justify giving somebody money to pay for a dinner with a prostitute? And he makes no bones about it. How do you justify that? So when I asked these people, show me something that you have done, now the views went way down, because I show you, I prove to everybody that what I did my whole life was manly stuff. A lot of people do manly stuff, but you hear, well, I was in the service. Okay, you were in the service. Thank you very much. But what did you do in the service? What did you just load missiles on the bottom of a plane? Was that deadly for you? I mean, what did you do? You had the backup of 10,000 other people, backup. Doctors, hospitals, medics, ambulances, planes, helicopters, in case you got hurt. What I did out in the middle of nowhere with another man before there were cell phones, with a radio that maybe somebody would hear a distress call. But the guy who worked on the barge, if I got hurt, didn't even know how to turn the radio on. Guy worked for me for 17 years, didn't know how to make a bowling nut. But anyway, he was a hard-working man. But what I did was real man stuff. This other guy said, I was in Subic Bay partying for 2 weeks. That was what he did in the military. He partied. The guy is, in fact, a slob, in every sense of the word. So he makes fun that he's coming here. He did it again yesterday. He's going to, we're going to go. I don't think you're going to come. I think you're a coward. And I really get a kick out of the fact that you have to wear one of those alien bug masks. That's probably why you're on self-destruct, because your life expectancy, it says when you have a CPAP, I think it is, or CPAC, when you have one of those masks that you have to wear at night, your life expectancy is reduced 7 to 10 years. So he might know that he only has a few years left, so he doesn't care what he does or who he spreads it to. That's a fact. Scott Del Fuego. Now we have some reasons to listen. Thank you, Scott. Yeah, that guy, what was the name of that? Sleep apnea. Sleep apnea. And I'm going to show you what he has to wear. This is so when he lays down next to those prostitutes. When he lays down next to those prostitutes. I wonder what they're thinking when he's got this thing on his face. It looks like the alien, actually. And that's probably, he's mad at himself. He's definitely on a self-destruct course. There's no doubt about that. Where are we here? Come on, rebar tying machine. I went through another rebar tying machine website that you can't buy a rebar tire on this morning. It's the Newsom Whacker. Try to buy a Newsom Whacker. And I sent them out an email, but I don't expect to get an answer anytime soon. You know what I should just do? Where the heck is that? Ah, boy, I'll just put it in again at the top. Hold on a second. I got to type something in. Sleep. Sleep apnea. Sleep apnea deprivation. Sleep. Let's see. Sleep apnea machine. Let's look at this thing. The slob. Well, he needs this so that he can breathe. But I mean, and if I had to wear one of those, I'd be an embarrassment. I'd be embarrassed myself. So and it's really, it's not his fault that he has to wear one. But he knows that his life expectancy has been reduced 7 to 10 years, and he makes fun of me. He's going to come here. He said he's going to come here again, and Richie, I hope you come with him. I hope you come with him, Richie, because I'm looking forward to that day. I'm gonna take out my camera, and I'm gonna go outside, and you guys are gonna be yelling in front of the house, and you're gonna be making all that fun stuff that you do on his channel, like yesterday. But I turned his channel on at the exact moment you started. Yeah, and have you been watching Fazio? I turned it on as you said that. I don't know if you said it before. Yeah. And what you think is funny, I'm going to turn it into a real joke for you. I'm going to turn all of that stuff into something that everybody's going to be able to laugh at. I promise. You think that my tenaciousness on my barge, that I don't get upset, I don't get angry, and when the stuff hits the fan, and I'm always in control during a havoc type of situation. You think that you're going to scare me by standing in front of the house and screaming at me? You're making a very, very, very big jump from your comedy on YouTube to reality. I'm telling you, it's going to be a big, big mistake. But it's your mistake. It's up to you if you want to make it. Don't make any mistake about it. I don't care that you come. It's a public street. But you have to mention me on every single show. Any show I've ever gone to, you mention me. Why? Are you a coward? Do you really want to have a confrontation with me? Is that what you want to do? Because it sure seems like that. And like I said, it's a public street. You're welcome to come. I had somebody, no, I won't tell you what somebody said to me this morning, but you think you're funny, and I don't find you funny at all. I don't flag your channel. I could flag your channel, but I don't, because it's free advertisement. But you guys on YouTube that think you're funny, like that other creep that lives in a small box that kept making fun of my skirt, but there might be a reason I wear open bottom pants when I'm just alone on the property. Might be a reason. Maybe there is a reason. Maybe there's not. Maybe it's just more comfortable. But so I found this video this morning, getting off Richie and the slob. They're not coming to my house. They'll talk about it every day, but they won't ever do it, because I don't see them risking their I don't know. I don't see them risking. I don't see them with that much of a high risk level. I wouldn't say I'm going to Thailand, because I have no interest to go to Thailand. But if I did say it, I'd probably go. I'm a man of my word. Definitely a man of my word. You don't understand me at all, but you will. And but you, every day, you got to you and that other guy, Mike Frost, got to mention me every day. On wherever you are, you have to mention Fazio. What's wrong with you, Rich? What's wrong with you, slob? I don't mention you 10 or 12 videos, 15, 20 live streams in a row. I don't mention you at all. And you have to mention me in every live stream. And always with something sarcastic. Mike Frost, you think you're funny. You're another one. Another coward. No one knows who you are. You have no content. I can't find your page. And you'll never tell anybody who you are. And you just run your mouth on other people's channels. And they laugh and you laugh. But you're a coward. You and Dave, Popeye, now Roberto was thrown into the mix. And only because Dave, who was one of the biggest pieces of backstabbing liars that I've ever met in my entire life, he will twist and manipulate the situation so that he wants to make it your fault at the end of the day for something he did and lied about. So you people are all the same, and yet Popeye took his side. Popeye is not stupid. He knows that what Dave did is wrong, but Popeye is his friend, so he took his friend's side. Roberto is not stupid, but he took Dave's side. Now, if I had a friend that did to someone else what Dave did to me, I would befriend him. That'd be it. Our friendship is over. You're a piece of garbage for doing that to somebody that you promised to help and then backed out of it. And then you have, of course, the women, the Millie Fat Fingers and Brutally Fat Fingers. You have those women that are constantly commenting. They can't go on a show without mentioning my name. So if you really want to look at something that's funny, if you really want to look at something entertainment, forget about Brutally Fat Fingers with her 3/4-inch nails and her 2.5 pounds of makeup that she wears. Forget about her. Look at the other one. The other one don't wear any makeup, Millie Fat Fingers, and she's been on YouTube for 15 years, or 14 years, 13 years, 12 years, something like that. She's got 34 subscribers. You watch her videos. If you ever watch her videos, if you ever see her in a video, it really isn't fair to make fun of her. She's got a very, either no education or a very small education. She lives in somewhere in the woods, in the forest. She's not too bright. She thinks that putting these rocks, crystal rocks, on her banister on the porch keeps away the chemtrails or the Morgellons. I forgot what it was. There's something called Morgellons. There's some kind of thing in the atmosphere. She thinks by putting these crystals on her front porch railing for her deck, that's going to keep away the chemtrails or the Morgellons or both. I don't know. Evil spirits, God, the devil, whatever. So she's not real bright. It's really not. I'm not making fun of her, but she wants to make fun of me every day. That's not Brutally Fat Fingers. That's which one is it? Yeah. Brutally Fat Fingers is somebody else. The other one is, they're both Brutally Fat Fingers. They almost look alike, too. So, you want to make fun of me? Keep making fun of me. Just remember that occasionally I look in on that. Whenever I do look in, you're always there making fun of me. And so now you had a chance. Did you see the videos he made? He made a point. Did you see the videos that Fazio's been posting? The videos that prove that everything, the slob and you and the creep that lives in the little box in Hawaii, that all of everything that you've ever said about me is a lie. Everything. That I never owned a barge. That was one of the things that you guys made a lot of fun of. But then I show you the barge. Now you can't deny what I had a barge for 12 years, and I just had a barge. I borrowed the barge. You don't borrow barges. You own barges and cranes and tugboats and pile drivers and backhoes and bobcats and trenching machines and diggers. So now I took everything out, all the air out of your cells. So now what are you going to do? You're going to make some more funny videos about me? Just make sure you remember those funny videos when you're standing. Maybe you could put them on your cell phone and face them towards my house while you're yelling at me. whatever you're going to yell at me from. Maybe I could watch the videos from my window. Oh my God, they're outside. Oh, they're showing. Yeah, you do that, Rich. You do that. You just make those funny videos, and the slob. You kind of. We're gonna go. We're gonna go to Fazio's house. We're gonna do that. You're not gonna do it. You're not gonna do it. Believe me, you're not gonna do it. You're not gonna do it. Slob is not stupid. He's a liar. He's definitely a liar, and he's a liar because of what he did for a living. He sold insurance. That's how they make money. They manipulate you into something. He lied about he's a government agent. He's a government agent like I'm the next James Bond hero. He's not a government agent. He just lies to everybody about everything, and you people are that stupid that you give him money. I don't care that you give him money, but that's how stupid you people are. You want to see stupid, you give this guy $50. Ken in Subic, I think, gave him $50 last night so he could have dinner with a paid prostitute. What? Where is there any morality to that? Where is there any normalcy to that? Where is there any kind of higher brain function to that? Giving somebody money, why don't you give LaRue Segrest money? She's a hard-working Filipina. You don't give her any money, Kenny, but you're always giving the slob money, and that other guy's always, why don't you give one of these, somebody like Sweet Skates or Ruby or LaRue Segrest money. Why don't you do that? Why are you giving it to some guy that's higher in price? He's telling you, I got this girl, I paid this many bahts for her, I'm going to take her out for dinner, and you throw him $50. This is sickness. And, anybody that goes to his channel and makes a notation on his channel with their name, I really, really wish that you would never come to my channel and make a comment. I don't want to embarrass a few of the people that I see over there, but I will. I mean, I don't mind it. If you go to that guy's channel and leave a comment that you're the man or great content, I don't want you on my channel. I may not say anything if I like you. I may see your name on my channel and I might just block you. And because if I did like you in the past, I will give you that much for our previous friendship, but nothing more. And I'm going to start doing that. Okay, I told you that the new rules are, unless you're my friend, like Scott Del Fuego made a comment, and Scott has truly been a friend to me, and so has many of my other friends been true friends to me, even though we've never met. But I did meet one of YouTube's most famous people after talking with him for 2 or 3 years back and forth. Not because we're both real men, we do real men stuff. Wes from One Lonely Farmer, I actually met him in real life. We enjoyed each other's company for approximately, it wasn't long enough, but he got to my house in New York about 11 o'clock in the morning, and I left his house the next day at 11 o'clock. So it was about 24 hours. We met, we talked. We were the same people on YouTube as we were in real life. We worked together. He shared a whole bunch of really great stories with me. He devoted 2+ days of his life to get some things that I couldn't take to the Philippines with me, drill presses and big ladders and things like that. And we were so as far as can you make friends on YouTube without meeting them, Wes and I were friends. And then we remain friends till this day, okay? And we'll probably be friends for the rest of our lives because we do manly stuff. And we don't appreciate the sissies on YouTube mocking and ridiculing myself or him. He has no tolerance for it either. But I'm going back. I'm telling you now that nobody's comments, none, will be answered on my channel unless I know you personally, have your phone number, talk to you on a regular basis, and I'm going to tell you why again. Okay, you can report me to YouTube or however you want. You super chat, which is coming. Super Chat is for people that want to get noticed on somebody's channel. Like Ken in Subic Bay gave the slob $50 yesterday. And then the slob gives him a shout out, and it snowballs into two sick individuals, one paying for a prostitute and the other one paying for the paying of the prostitute. That is mentally low. That is like, I don't know, perversion. You call it what you want. That's sick. That's sick, Ken. And anybody else that gives them money. It's something wrong with you people. Now, and I mean that sincerely. This is what society has broken down into. There was something mentally wrong with you that you want to have. You want people to give your wife respect, which I don't know who your wife is and I don't care. And if you have a daughter one day, you're going to want people to have respect for your daughter. But the slob is out there disrespecting all women to the utmost degree. There's no more disrespect for a woman than to show her on camera as what she is and state what she is, and that again, she only costs this many baht, and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. How would you like it if it was your daughter or your sister? And you're giving people like that money. That's sick. It's perverse. Now, why do I go to his show? There's not a lot on YouTube, number one. I'm the only person that's doing anything real on YouTube for the last couple of months, 5 months, a year. All of you other guys are just blah, blah, blah. You're all a bunch of probably maybe ex-military or retired men. You have extra money. But what do you do? What do you do all day? You just go from one channel. Now, you like to talk about other people, but you don't show anybody where you live and what you do and what you look like. See, that's because you don't have any guts. You're a coward. You're a bunch of cowards, all of you. If you don't put who you are, where you live, and what you're doing on YouTube, and then you critique other people violently or maliciously, you're a coward. So I don't take it that seriously because I know you'll never do it to my face. I don't care how big you are either. I don't give a shit about any of that stuff. And I don't care about any of that stuff. None of that shit matters to me. So don't tell me I am this big and I've had one guy, Bill Clinton, he's 6'4" and he's got 12 black belts. Okay, I don't care about any of that. I don't care. I never cared. I'm never going to care. So you people, like just every day, every channel I go to, you same 4, 5, 6, 7 people criticizing me. When in fact you should be giving me kudos for the things I've accomplished in this life, except that it makes you look like the weak, sick, malicious, and mentally handicapped people that you are, that you have nothing to show in your life of anything of worthwhile. And you've never done anything fantastical. I have done hundreds of things that are fantastical. Some I could put on YouTube, some would have my channel removed, and some would be worse than that if I told you some of the things that I watched or witnessed in my life. But you people, you've never done anything. What is a picture of the slob doing anything, building something, fixing his car, changing his transmission? It doesn't exist. Slob's never accomplished anything in his life. And now he's trying to kill himself on a self-destruct mission. Well, we can, I can understand that. The guy's got that sleep apnea thing, where I was just reading about it this morning. He's going to lose 7 to 10 years of his life. So he's 57 now. He had his birthday the other day, 58. So his life expectancy is probably, if it's 7 to 10 years, he's going to be dead soon anyway. I mean, if he's 58 and he's going to lose 10 years, that makes him 68. At his rate of alcohol consumption and Viagra, you know that I keep telling the slob that Viagra and alcohol don't go together. People on his channel say it too. There's lots of people. He just doesn't care. He's on a self-destruct mission. But if he really wants to do a self-destruct mission, let me videotape it, please. Like, let me go with him to Alona Beach, and he could do alcohol and take his Viagra, and I'll make a video of that. The man makes a fool of himself every night. I'm this, and you're nothing, slob. You're absolutely nothing. Nobody in their right mind, correct mental attitude would give you any kind of commendation for the disgusting display of semi-quasi humanity that you show. You show no sense of humanity towards those women. I don't care that you go out with prostitutes. I don't even care that there are prostitutes. But the fact that you display them in such a low-grade mannerisms, it makes you a piece of garbage. And you are about as low as it gets, slob. And Richie, before allowing that to take place without correcting it. So, and I'm going to tell you, I have a prediction that probably won't come true, but the situation that the slob has put himself in a foreign country, in an Asian foreign country, I would not be surprised if one of those girls whose family knows what she does for a living, if one of the members of the family see one of those videos where you're maliciously speaking about his sister or maybe his mother or his cousin, I wouldn't be a bit surprised if somebody just walked up to you and did something unspeakable. I wouldn't be surprised about that, because you are in Asia, when you lose face, when you insult somebody to a certain degree, the Asians don't like that. They take it seriously. I wouldn't be a bit surprised if one day the slob is just gone. And maybe that'll happen, and maybe it won't happen. He's not tough, that's for sure. And when he walks out of those bars at night drunk, he's got no defense mechanism left. So things will take care of itself, especially with the and then look at the waste of humanity and money that's spent with the slob. Look at how much he says he spends. He has to spend $4,000 or $5,000 or $6,000. He spends it on nothing. He's not getting any goods for the money. Oh, you people think you give him $50, he goes out to dinner. He has a woman who knows, all of these women know what their job is. They don't make any bones about it. They're not embarrassed about it. They don't care for him. But let's go on the assumption that they have no self-respect for themselves, right? Okay. Now, here is what the slob spends. He said he spends $300, sometimes $400 a night on drinks. I don't know if that's true or not. And what does he get for that? When he's all done, he takes one of those Viagra, right? He's drunk out of his brain. And then what? He has sex. When you're drunk like that, can you feel it? Can you enjoy it? Do you even know you had it? And how many times can you do it? What does an orgasm last? 45 seconds? 30 seconds? And when you're drunk out of your brain, does it even last that long? I don't know. And so this is what he spends $400 a night on, when he could be doing something wonderful with that money. He could go out and buy a boat and hire a captain to take him all over Thailand. He could go swimming. He could learn how to go scuba diving. But he does nothing with his money. He's a wasteful person, and as far as in his human genome, is basically worthless, in my opinion. So, with that said, we'll check the comments. Now, Scott's here still. Okay, so with that, I'm going to show you where I was. I was in Coinjack, North Carolina, with the barge, okay? And it's a duck hunting in the wintertime. This is before the military destruction of the of the forest for deforestation. I don't know if they sprayed Agent Orange in there. I don't know anything about that, but I'm going to show you. I'm going to let you watch this video, and I'll stop it occasionally. I'm in CoinJack, but then I started at the 54-second minute, 54-second timestamp, because before that, it's just the video camera slamming around in my hand, and I really couldn't. That video camera, I didn't know anything about video cameras back then. When you move it a little bit and it's far away. But anyway, I'm at the CoinJack Marina in North Carolina, for those of you who have visited there. And what I realized as I got closer to the middle section, the heart of America, between after New Jersey, after Ohio, people don't put stuff away at night. They don't put their tools away if they're working on their car. The duck hunting boats have hundreds of ducks in the boats. You're going to see that, I think, in this video also. You're going to just see a bunch of ducks. And they leave everything out, like if someone's working on a car, because there's no crime in a lot of those. At that time there was none. Even in Cape Hatteras, where I ported at Odin's Dock, O-D-E-N, Odin's Dock, the owner of the hotel told me that where I had the barge ported was a fishery where they took fish off the boats. And he gave me the key to the building. And he said, however many fish that you want, just go in and take from the big bins of fish, because every day, somebody would come and haul the fish out of there. But if there's fish in the bins, go and take what you want, and just keep a list of how many fish you take and weigh it. And then when you leave, we'll work it out, because I did a big job for him. And that was what now I could have ate fish breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But I kept an accurate record of how many fish I took. And at the end of the day, when I did a really big job at Odin's Dock, I straightened out all their docks and put in piling and moved some of the pier. The pier was off level. I made it all level. I worked on it for about a week with Dan Odin, the son, and Dan Odin, the father. And then I told him I ran up a bill in every single business. Well, where am I going to go? I'm on a barge. But I ran up a bill in every single business. I just signed my name. If the people were there, I just signed my name. And if they weren't there, I told them what I took. And at the end of the day, before I left, I gave them the money for everything. So it was really interesting to live in that part of the world, because I did spend months on up and down the intercoastal. So I'm going to show you what it looks like there. It's raining. Finally, I was starting to get out of the cold snow and sleet weather. I think I was out of snow and sleet pretty much within a day or so after I left North Carolina, for sure. So I'll show this to you, and this is what real men do. Hey, Spanky, that's something. I didn't consider you worked and made money in your travels with the barge. Oh, yeah. Wherever I stopped, I had a barge with a crane and a pile driver on it. Every place I ported for fuel, almost every place needed work done. And it was my barge. I was legally, I could do the work. I still had my marine construction license from New York, but I did. I don't know if I have videos of Dan's pier. There was a huge storm sometime before I got there. And, the pilings are 10 or 12 inches in diameter. First of all, happy anniversary. There's a man that just spent his 10th anniversary going to see a movie called Pig. And him and his wife were in the theater all by themselves. I don't know if that was arranged like that, But that was really nice that you took the time to take your wife out to a show on your anniversary. Because I will tell you that in my family, most of the anniversaries in my family on both sides of the family went unnoticed. My mother's mother and father didn't really celebrate their anniversary. My mother and father, to them, it was just another day. My dad would take my mother out the week before or the week after, but the day of the anniversary itself, not so much, because it might have been a work day for my dad. So it wasn't. But I found it nice that you went out on the day of with your wife, and another member of my family. They don't even acknowledge birthdays or anniversaries. It wasn't a big deal. My family wasn't traditional like that. Christmas presents, yes, but not anniversaries or birthdays. I found that really nice. And as far as working, if I pulled into a fuel dock, it had "You're welcome." Unfortunate title. I don't know. I heard about that, the name of the movie. I don't know what it's about. I was going to look it up, but then I had to go to the happy anniversary from Scott Del Fuego. Happy anniversary, Spanky. Happy anniversary. That was really cool. Hey, Spanky has a wonderful family. And he's married to a Filipina. And he's a truck driver. And he's got something like 250,000 miles without an accident or a ticket. That's a lot of miles. And he drives one of those huge trucks, 3 million miles. It was a lot of miles. 3 million miles the man has driven without an accident or a ticket. Come on. Let's give him a round of applause. That's amazing. The only story I ever heard come close to that was a UPS driver. Drove for 10 years without a ticket. But 3 million miles he did not. And that's amazing. That is just... And he drives a big rig. He drives... His trailer is... I don't know if the one that I saw looked like it was longer than a 40-foot box. I think they're 56 feet long, the longer ones. Unless that's commercial flatbed that I'm thinking about. 53 feet. Okay, yeah, it looks longer than a standard 40-foot box. And when I took my CDL, I had to take seven stamps. I had to take air brakes. I had to take doubles, triples, nuclear waste, chemical waste, of course, and two more: chemical waste, nuclear waste, air brakes. And it was 7 stamps. Do you still have to have? I mean, do you qualify for all of those? You don't have to have them. I just took it because I wanted to have them, and I found that. I mean, it's easy to drive a tractor-trailer truck in Florida Keys. Hazmat, right, hazmat, hazardous materials. That was number 6. Okay, so, yeah, pool chemicals, the chlorine. You got to be careful with that chlorine. That is, I was breathing in chlorine yesterday. I did a little bit of cleaning on some work clothes, and it made me sick this morning. When I woke up, I didn't feel well. Scott Del Fuego. No tickets is impressive, but you can control how you follow the law without an accident is amazing. Not only in suing, you pay attention. Yeah, you don't have to make the mistake, is what Scott is saying, to have an accident. You don't have to make that mistake. Somebody else can make it for you. And that's true. So 3 million miles. That's from here from here to the moon 6 times and back 6 times. That's a lot of miles, Spanky. That's so many. And I read what you wrote, and I just didn't reply. It was very nice. Spanky wrote to me that exactly what I've been telling you people all along, that I'm not afraid of you people coming here. I'm not. And he realized when he saw the barge and the situation I was in with the barge, and that I don't hit the panic button when the stuff hits the fan. In fact, I get very meticulous about what I do and how I do it. My mind goes into another plane of consciousness. When the boom is, when I have sticks up in the air and one is sliding off the number 1 wire, I don't just lose my control of my foot brakes and my dogs and my number 2 wire. I figure out what I could do as it's happening in that 1/10 to 2/10 of a second window that you have to react. I figure out what I have to do to keep anybody from getting hurt. And I don't care about equipment. Equipment could be fixed, but I've had men underneath me when really, like, multiple ton things or were slipping or moving or could have killed anybody on any given day with what I did for a living. I don't panic. So when you guys come here, you're gonna watch me go into a completely different mental state of consciousness. So Spanky just basically said, I could see after all you've been through, the trials and tribulations with equipment, and just the fact that I owned a barge. What do you think? In all of New York City, only 6 people own barges. Okay? 6 private companies. For all the years I was in business, you'd think you just go out and buy a 188-ton barge with a crane on it, 12 diesel motors, 2 gasoline motors, 9 hydraulic systems, and a crane, a live boom, live wire. You think see, I'm a different type of guy. So when I call you guys sissies, I really mean sissies. I don't mean that I think you're a sissy. You're a sissy, Rich, because you've never shown us anything that you've done. You're very creative with your videos, and that's going to go against you when you're standing in front of the house. It's going to work against you. It's not going to be for you. And the other guy, he's just a piece of garbage on his way out. He's a piece of garbage on his way out. He knows his life expectancy was reduced 7 to 10 years. He's on a self-destruct, and you guys feed his self-destruct mechanism. So Spanky said, yeah, I could see why you're not afraid of those. I'm not afraid. Believe me. And if I just come, public street, just come. I'll show you how afraid I am. Don't worry about it. It's public street. It's all public. Right? Everything in front of my house is public. Everything. So you could stand out there in the middle of the night, scream out profanities, and you could do that. It's up to you, Rich. You got a big mouth. Let's see you back it up with something. Let's see you back it up, Rich. Come on, Rich. You got a big mouth. Let's see you back it up with something other than your funny videos. Because some of your videos are quite funny. But most of them are funny with a sadistic twist. And one day, not me, because I don't plan on looking for you, but one day somebody will run across you that you think it's funny, and you'll tell him who you are, and they might drop you. I don't care if they do, but what you think is funny, there are people in this world that they might go along with it. And Ted Bundy was a nice guy, right? But you never knew that he was the kind of guy he was. Well, that might be somebody that you meet one day and say, yeah, those are my videos. And the guy will go, you deserve a beating. And maybe he'll give you a beating. Maybe worse. Because what you do is very sadistical, very sinister in your nature. But just go outside in front of my house with the slob. Just do that. Do that one favor for me, please. And then we'll make a video, me and you and the slob. Bring some more people, too. I don't care who you bring. It really makes no difference. It's going to be It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. So Spanky said, I could see why you don't care. Because I've already been, I've risked my life. I've risked all. I'm out in the middle of the Chesapeake Bay. I'm out in the middle of Long Island Sound, in the middle of the winter, moving a barge from Connecticut to Long Island by myself. If I fall down in the winter and I get hurt, the barge is going to keep on going till I run ashore or I die. If I fall overboard, I'm definitely going to die in the freezing water. And I don't ask for backup. I don't wear a life jacket. I just take my chances with whatever I'm doing. So you standing in front of the yard, you're certainly not going to change the way I think about, way I think about life. But I want you, Rich, make a video of this. I want Richie and I want the slob to come and yell out stuff in front of my house. Come on, Rich, don't be a coward. Don't be a punk. Don't be a punk like the closet dweller. Don't be like that. Do what you say you're going to do. Man up. Don't be afraid either. It's a public street. I keep telling you. You know where I live. It's easy enough because the little rat, the closet dweller guy, he ratted me out. He doxed me. He thinks he was cute. He thinks he's cute with a lot of stuff. But now look at him. Look where he is. Look where he is. So, that was why I put the picture of those 4 strong men in kilts. Because he likes to make fun of men that wear skirts or kilts or open bottoms of their pants. He likes to do that because there's something wrong with him in his head. The same way there's something wrong with you, Rich, that you support a guy that supports prostitutes. Now, if the guy, on the other hand, on the other end of that, if the slob just went out with, look at the garbage that the slob hangs out with. Look at the garbage that he hangs out. Ben. Every single person thinks Ben is gay. I don't know if Ben is gay or not. I have no idea. I don't really want to know either, but look at that piece of garbage that's drunk out of his head, out of his brain. He can't even talk. I watched him the other night with that pretty woman in the pink dress. Okay, she's a beautiful young lady, prostitute, and she's making a living. That's all good. But you don't have to display that crap on YouTube. Okay, that's pretty low. But anyway, Ben, the slob, was trying to hook her up with Ben. She looked at the slob when he said sit next to Ben. No, I don't want to sit next to him. I don't want to sit next to him. This is a prostitute that's going to get paid. I don't know what they paid him, X amount of dollars. He couldn't even get a prostitute to sit next to him. He was so drunk, and he really did look. I'm not kidding you. He looked like a serial killer. He's not a serial killer, but he looked like one. He was like, and he's going, I bet I could guess where you're from. And then he made 12, 15, 20 guesses, and she said no. She was just, he might have guessed it the first time. She didn't want nothing. A prostitute that's going to get paid to go home with him, she wouldn't even do it. The slob couldn't even get her to do it. That's the piece of garbage that the slob drags around with him every night. And you people find this to be entertainment? I look at it in disgust. And I look at it to see if you guys are talking about me. And you are every day. So, Rich, don't talk about me just on YouTube. Come to my house and talk about me, please. I'm asking you nice. Because I don't think you will. I think you're a coward, Rich. That's what I think you are. You, the closet dweller, and the slob. You're all cowards. Dave, coward. Roberto for sticking up for Dave. Kind of like an underhanded backstabber. Popeye, kind of like an underhanded backstabber. Knowing that Dave was wrong. And the other guy that stuck up for Dave. Popeye, Roberto, Big Kevin, underhanded backstabber. People that let the Go-Go Bobo's sister on their show that has nothing, has 10 or 15. You people are sick. You guys are really mentally deranged. I don't know. I don't really believe in so many things that people believe in. A lot of people believe that God is going to take care of you at the end of the judgment day. I doubt that's going to happen. So in between now and then, you have your sick, sadistical, but there is something called morals, and you lack morals from every aspect of morality. You're a sick rich. You're a sick, sadistic, no moral person. That's what you are. And you think you're funny. And everybody else thinks you're funny because they're just as sick as you are. But anyway, don't be afraid to come see me, Rich. Don't be afraid. Really, don't be afraid. Come do. Don't be afraid. Don't do what the closet dweller does. He threatens you. I don't care about his threats either. He could threaten anybody he wants. But the time will come. The time already came and went for him to jump, for him to go. And he crawled up like a little girl in front of 35 people. And there were 35 people at attention watching the event take place, that he backed down like a little girl. Because he's a coward. He's not. He's just a big mouth on YouTube. Now, what he does, who he could hire, who he's going to get, that's a different story. But he himself is a coward. He's never going to fight anybody that he said, you're never going to come, because you're a coward too. You just want to remain behind the scenes and run your mouth. That's what I think about you and the slob. The slob ain't coming. He's not going to risk what he's going to be risking if he comes and stands in front of my house. He's going to be risking the embarrassment of his life. I'm going to take my camera outside. You're going to have your camera, and I'm going to have my camera, and we're going to make videos. Promise. But you're going to be the one that's going to be embarrassed at the end of the day. Believe me when I tell you that. You should take my word on that. So I'm going to show you this video of CoinJock. Now you got to remember, I was lost in the Pamlico Sound because the sound shows you buoys. Now maybe they picked up the buoys for the winter to clean them or to revise them, but there were no buoys in the Pamlico Sound. There were lights, but the whole sound was foggy. I couldn't see 175 feet in any direction. So you're going to, in about a minute after the video starts, you're going to see me going, well, I got to be over there or over there. And I think it's over there, but it could be that way. It might be that way. I don't know where I was. I didn't have a compass and my GPS wasn't working. So it's kind of like funny a little bit. And while you watch that, I'm going to get something to drink. So I'm going to turn this around and start this CoinJock video, open it up to its full view, and that's what I need to do. Hold on a second. I need to shut this window. The light. The light from that window was screwing everything up. The sun is in this part of the world now from the front. Yeah, Rich, you just come. You just keep believing that you're going to come here and go. It's going to be a good day on YouTube that day for sure. So let me see all right, so I think I got it. Yeah, I got it. There's a hose reel there. Okay. So this is the dock I poured it in. Oh, by the way, to port here, that green hose is like 150 feet of diesel hose. So to port here at this port, I think it was $35 for the night because no one was around to service my fuel needs. So I had to pay $35 just to put the barge there. So and right after this, there's a lock, but I don't know that. I think you're going to see me go through the lock in another video. So let's go, and this is a beautiful little layout. Here we go. Well, we're on the Pamlico Sound. Hopefully on the south end of it. I have no idea where I am. I've been on this body of water for approximately, today will be 4 days, 4 full days, if I stay on until 3 o'clock this afternoon. I got about 12 to 16 hours worth of fuel, depending on the windage and the throttle. Land is over this way, somewhere about 5 to 8 miles away, as near as I could figure from the lighthouse and the lights that were blinking last night. The wind is coming out of the east, and it's going to blow me towards the west, but I need to go to the north to get to land, and I definitely need to go to the north. Otherwise, I'm going to run out of fuel. Then I'm going to have to call for commercial assistance, and we don't want that. Right there on the deck is that last 55-gallon drum of fuel plus what's in the crane. It's been going pretty good out here. Yesterday it got a little snotty. Towards the end of the day it was like 3-4 foot waves, but it picked up just for an hour or so, and then it laid down when the sun went down. Well, that's about it. You can see my gang box got smushed again from the waves. There is no life out here in Pamlico Sound. There is nothing out here. There is not a buoy. I haven't seen a boat since the day I got on here. I saw maybe off in the distance 5 miles away what looked like a wake of a boat. There's not a buoy. There's not a lobster trap. There's not a fisherman. When they pull the anchor up, there's nothing but mud comes off it. There's no mussels. There's no worms. There's nothing in this sound. It's like from the Twilight Zone. I can't believe there's no fish. I didn't see a seagull pull a fish out. Well, I'm going to conserve some more time off of this. And with that, there's the sun peeking at me. Hello, Mr. Sun. Oh, today it was 50-something degrees when I woke up. It was kind of like being in Key Largo in mid-August to me. Instead of wearing 7 layers of clothes, I'm down to 3. 7 layers and freezing. The other morning it was 10 degrees with the wind blowing, with the wind chill factor. It was 10 degrees. It was 30 degrees out with a wind chill factor of 10. To give you an idea how cold it is out here, I bought a bag of ice 8.5 days ago, and it's still got half of its water and half of it's still ice cubes. It was so cold one night I wanted to crawl into the ice chest because the ice would have kept me warm. That's how cold it was. Dad was right about it being cold. Oh, and there's pelicans. I saw some pelicans yesterday, a pair. And I saw one the day before that. So I guess I'm moving south. All right, that's enough. We got to go start the big motors. Talk to you later. Well, as you can see, I'm refueling my big tank from the drums that are on the deck. I have been in this spot since about 10 o'clock this morning, when the waves were about 1.5 feet, but it was too foggy to see that open water tower that I parked next to. The reason why I parked next to it is so that I might be able to get a fix on where I am when the weather clears up from the Coast Guard. Because right now I have no idea where I am. I've been here since this morning, like I said, and I will probably be here until the day after tomorrow. Because even if I could see land right now, the way that the land is dead on into these waves, and that would be southwest, because the winds are coming directly out of the southwest, and there is no way I could fight it to get there. with the amount of fuel that I have, because when that tank is empty, I have 30 gallons in the crane and a 4-gallon reserve. And I need to be going with the wind. Waves are now, I guess they're 2 to 3s with some 5s in between. Been a real fun day. Every time I take that container that I'm refueling with has a closed top. And as soon as I'm done with that one, then I fill up 2 more open tops. No sooner do I put the siphon hose in the top of the open container does it start raining, then I have to go get my cover, put the cover on top, put a weight on top of that, and then wait to fill it up. Then as soon as I'm done with those 2 containers and I'm going to unfuel it, and I put my siphon hose in top of that container with the top on it, the one that's there now, stops raining. As soon as I go to unsiphon the fuel out of that one, and I'll put the 2 open containers on top of the fuel tank right here, it starts raining again. It's a conspiracy. I know it's a conspiracy. Even Tommy's pumpkin is falling apart. My friend Tommy Melanson. His pumpkin is falling apart. Tommy, I know I told you I'd get that pumpkin to Florida. I don't know, buddy. It looks like it's starting to, as near as I can tell, looks like it ain't gonna make it. But there'll be remnants of pumpkin on the deck for you, Tom. And this is what I have to contend with, refueling this container from where it is, because it was too heavy to move over all of that stuff. So now I had to pick it up and put it on the staircase when it got light. And I'm probably sound like I'm just babbling now, because I am babbling, because I've almost had enough. Not really. It's pretty nice out here. As long as the anchor holds, I could stay here for a week with the provisions I have. It's just that it wasn't something that I planned on. I know that nobody else would have stayed here. I don't know of anybody else. But actually, it's quite nice out here. Nobody yells at me but me. And I never yell at me because I'm here and I'm not getting yelled at by anybody else, so there's no reason for anybody to yell. If that makes any sense. And I'm sure it will to some people who I know. Well, enough of this. I only have about 30 minutes left. I'll leave you with this open water. That don't work so good. This is an open water thing, which means I am in open water. Where? Oh, I'm in Pamlico Sound, about 4 days now to get to this point. Have not a clue where I am. Best estimate is I'm 80 miles into 110 mile sound. Worst estimate is I'm 70 miles into 110 mile sound. And somewhere over there, on the other side of that, is either Cape Lookout or the Pungo River, which was my original destination when the Coast Guard told me to stay put. But then I would have had to stay put for 3 days, 100 miles back that way. And I didn't want to stay put for 3 days, 100. And it was 10 degrees out with rain and sleet on my deck. Now, I didn't want to stay there. So today, this is what I have to look forward to. Fueling up in 50-degree weather and seas I can't possibly transgress or traverse over, but I do have company. I have my open water sign, which means that I'm in open water, which means I'm in the thick of it if the wind changes from the wrong direction and we get 13-foot seas, which means I'll need to get towed again by the United States Coast Guard, which I really don't feel like doing. So, after I'm done putting all the fuel in the tank, I'm going to find out where I am. So if the weather breaks at any time, day or night, I can get the motors up and running
in the middle of the night or early morning or late this evening and go to the Pungo River, which is over there somewhere, or Cape Lookout, which might be over there somewhere. But we don't want to go back that way to the Albemarle Sound. It's 100 miles. And I don't have fuel. Oh, by the way, I only have fuel for another 50 miles. So if I don't go over there somewhere, within 50 miles, I'm going to be out of fuel. And I am going to need commercial assistance. That's the way they put it. When some guy in a boat comes out and rapes you mid-sea, you need commercial assistance. Isn't that nice? Hello, I'm here to give you commercial assistance. How much money do you have in your pocket or your bank account? Because we do things commercially. We don't take pennies, we take cash, dollars, and coin. Commercial assistance, folks, it's a wonderful thing. So if I don't get within 50 miles of land from my open water sign, I am going to need commercial assistance. Now, for some more reality. This is what the cabin has come to look like over the last week. It's a mess. It's a darn mess. That's my fuel containers. I'm keeping them out of the rain. There's my sleeping bag that got wet in the rain today. These are all wet clothes because I left this window, that window right there, with the lighthouses on it, open while I was looking for land, which I never did find. And I got everything wet. And this is it, folks. This is it. What do you want to see close-up of? You want to see close-up of my mitten, which is really a purple sock that I lost the other one in a storm somewhere about 500 miles ago? Or do you want to see what's going to be for dinner? Because here is dinner. Believe it or not, that's dinner. You want to see? Look at my hands. They're a mess. I've had oil and grease on my hands for the last 30 days almost, and I've had it with the oil and grease part. The flashlight, no more juice. Batteries are dead. All 4 sets of other batteries are dead. My water glass with my iced tea, gone. Must have fell down from a wave. Got all my gloves and everything wet. Yep. This is my peanut. This is all I got left for peanuts. This is peanuts compared to what I started with. Here's my fresh water supply. That's it. After that, we drink fresh water out of this thing. Right there. This thing ain't focusing. Out of that. But that tastes like metal. So you have to put iced tea in it and sugar and cocoa mix. Otherwise, it just tastes like a rusty old tank. There's the light of the Lord there. That's the only thing that's been working nice. I don't know. It's 5 days now and it's still full of fuel. I think it's being refueled subconsciously by something else. And that's it. This is my emergency gear right there. I hope if I get into that, that means that I have had it and I'm swimming for shore. Those gloves there, those are the wet gloves. We throw the wet gloves on the floor. Wet gloves, gloves full of fuel, till we could do.
Okay, so I wanted to address Scott's comment about my philosophical point of view about life and death. Okay, so there are stories that I've told about when I got stabbed or slashed open on December 15th, 1970. And I died, okay? And I met an entire group of people I call the council. I was dead. There was no doubt about that. I was dead for several minutes. So I fear not death because I don't believe in death. So if I can help you understand about life and death, I'm more than happy to do so. If you have a question, but now I'm not no longer answering questions. But if I could help you out, understand, I've helped several people out. Believe me when I tell you that, where they had they had the fear of death, and then I explained to them that you really don't die. You just don't die. Something else happens to you, but you don't die. And some people don't believe me, and that's okay too. But I fear not death. You can't make me afraid that you're going to come to my house and yell obscenities out at me. That doesn't scare me. And if you went to the whole distance and I thought my life was in danger, that wouldn't scare me either. It just doesn't matter. But that was the first time I died, and that was in a hospital with 5 doctors putting me back together. So when I died, I had a conversation with something that I call the council. I made an agreement with them that if they let me come back, I would do something. And that something turned out to be the book I wrote, that I made a discovery that should be world renowned. It should have went global. It should have been bigger than anything Steven Spielberg ever did, except for the fact that what I did is I expose and prove the New World Order exists, but I also prove there is no God of the Bible. Never was, never will be. There's no God. The Bible talks about God. That's not God. It is not God. If you pray to Jesus, it works. If you pray to a different deity, it typically works. If you believe that another person or entity is God, prayer itself works. But the God of the Bible, no such thing. Because that's what I proved. So if my book, Angels on the Ark, would have gone super viral, like, I'll tell you the whole story, but my book should have gone more than Star Wars. That's how special my book is, that my concept, what I proved, does and does not exist. I proved there's no such thing as God using a dollar bill and the King James Bible. First of all, just on the outset, how could there be a God? How could there be a God, singular? With all the different philosophies, how could it be Christianity is the main, the only, the one? It's nonsense. Because just take it on its face value that God supposedly made whatever. He did the thing in 6 days, and on the 7th day, he did Eve. I mean, he rested. And and now if you go back to the genealogy of all the, and you could do this, people have done this with the chosen people in the Bible. How many years Moses lived, how many years the other guys lived, all the way Job, how long Job lived. You go back, you could trace it right back to Adam and Eve 6,000 years ago. Well, I mean, that by itself tells you that God didn't create the earth. Now, there'll be all kinds of reasons. Now, I don't know about dinosaur bones because there's a big hoopla whether they exist or not, because nobody ever found a dinosaur bone until the end of the 1700s. But there are relics in every country of the world of giant humans, that some of them were 36 feet tall, that the United States government and all the other governments of the world have taken the bones and discarded them and destroyed them. So there's no proof of the giants that lived in mythical times. Now, there's also remnants of societies that are 50,000 years old. Well, if Adam and Eve started the world 6,000 years ago, where did all these other civilizations come from? And then you get one of these real Bible thumpers. And now I studied under the best of them. I studied religion and philosophy with Norm Tolson, Master Richard H. Behrens. You could look him up on YouTube. He now teaches uh, meditation and martial arts to the movie stars of the world, Senso Akijitsu, and I studied underneath another fella in the Florida Keys, and he was the head of the Seventh Day Adventist, which is a flaky organization from the get go. I mean, every flake in America is a Seventh Day Adventist, or every Seventh Day Adventist is a flake. But anyway, this fella that I studied with, I went. Somebody got me interested. There was a girl that I met at one of my friend's wife's girlfriends. She wanted me to go, and I did, and nothing ever came between me and her. But I went there, and I'm listening to this guy talk about this, that, and the other thing, and I go, this guy is full of crap. Okay, so I asked him a few questions, and he said, can I talk with you after class? And I said, yeah, okay. But, and I was not the outspoken person I am now, but I made it clear that he made a mistake when in his interpretation of something he was talking about in the Bible. And after the class, he was the head of the Seventh-day Adventists of all of, from like South Carolina to the tip of Florida. And I have his placard around here somewhere. I saw it a couple of months ago. Anyway, him and I talked, and I says, you know that this Bible stuff is a lot of crap, right? It's all. He goes, yeah, I know. So he admitted it right away. He goes, but people have to believe in something. Now here is the guy that's the head of it. Now, prior to that part of the conversation, I told him my background in religion and theology and who I studied and what I studied. And he goes, yeah, I know. But they got to believe in something. So it's all crap. But if you do pray, it does a few things. It focuses your attention on what you want to have happen during the course of the day. It brings you a certain amount of energy from the prayer itself. And I do believe if you pray properly, it helps you put you in a direction. It does not stop everything. There's no such thing as a guarantee when you pray, but it does help. But it gives people confidence mentally. It gives you confidence in what you want to achieve during the course of the day. You're not going to pray cancer away. You can make cancer go away with prayer and meditation. And if you have really powerful healers, that's possible. I've seen that done. It happened. It was done to me. I had cancer in my leg. And over the course of 6 weeks, from the time I took the x-ray and the doctor said they'd have to amputate my leg, in 6 weeks, he said, well, we'll come back and check that tumor in 6 weeks. And we did a prayer and meditation in Norm Tolson's class 4 times a week over my knee, over where the tumor was. And it went away. So it does work. And when the doctor, when I went back to the doctor's office, they said, this is not possible. It just went away. It was gone. Never came back. So it does work, but you have to have people that are powerful healers to make it happen. And then you have to believe it can happen. And you have to, you need to do a visualization with the prayer, and you need to do focus, and you have to feel the energy coming from the other people as a form of heat in a pink color that goes into your leg. So if you think that I don't believe in a higher power, I do. But I don't believe in this nonsensical spaghetti monster in the sky God, and I certainly don't believe in the Bible. And that's why I say I proved there is no God, because the synchronization of the pictographs on the dollar bill and the words in the Bible exist. Everybody that understands, that has read my book, says that what I wrote about and proved can't possibly exist, but it does. And that no human could have done that. That's been I've spoken with German engineers and showed them some of the a German engineer, and showed him the pictographs on the dollar bill. That he said that's not possible. He knew, he was religious. He knew the Bible, but he wasn't so much for the spaghetti monster. He believed in the concepts of the Bible. But he was an engineer, and I told him, how big of a wall would you have to make to be able to, with a piece of paper on it, to be able to fold it? And I showed him the pictographs that I showed him from the dollar bill. And how would you get the words to align with the pictures in order in Genesis and in the Bible, like the first 17 verses of Genesis, and then the first 6 chapters of Revelation. How big of a wall would you need to be able to make these pictures fold and do this? He goes, it's not possible. I said, but it's there, right? In other words, it's called non-Euclidean optics and cartographic mapping and cartographic projection. Okay, so it's not possible, but it did happen on the dollar bill. The pictures, the bullocks, things like that. So when I talked to this fella about this, I showed him the pictures. I brought those with me, the ones that I used for my book, and he said, "This is amazing." He says, "They'll probably kill you." That's what he said, because I proved there is no God, because whoever made the Bible made the pictographs in 1934. But the only way you could make the pictographs to the words in the Bible is to have some sort of supercomputer that still doesn't exist. Even today, there's no computer that you can do this with. So if they let me become world renowned, which they weren't going to, that's why I'm the most censored channel on YouTube. And I don't care, because there's not much I can do about it. We are talking about powers and principalities of evil. Okay, so basically I went against everything in this world, every government, every liar, Luciferian, sadist, pedophile pope or priest, everything that you people honor and justify and worship. I went against it all and then proved it all to be false. There's the stuff that goes on in the well, look at Jeffrey Epstein. Look at what the government allowed him to do for 38 years. He was molesting children for 38 years. Yeah, that's what they said he was doing. They let Trump is his friend. Trump knew about it too. In fact, Trump even has a picture of Trump with one of those little girls in a limousine. There's a picture somewhere on the net of Trump with an underage girl. And everybody knew what he was doing. The governors, the powers and principalities, everybody knew what he was doing in every country. They let it go. The same way when recently there was some sort of thing that happened in England where 200 members of parliament got caught up in some kind of a sting operation with child pornography and worse, and they just made it go away. These are the people that run the world. These are the people that I keep telling you. They run the world. The flat earth, but the world, and they run it. There's nothing that I could have done that I didn't do. So my book is a high concept. It's an action. A high concept only comes a few times a year, if that. And my book should have been the most successful book ever written. And my concept should have been the most successful book and movie ever written. But once they realized that what I wrote was true, they shut my channel down for nonsense. Well, one strike was reasonable. I don't think it should have gotten a strike, but it was reasonable. The other two were just nonsense strikes. They shut me down. And when I got the new channel, they've censored me to the point where in 3 years I got 500 subscribers. Every month I get 50 subscribers. Every month I lose 49. Same on my new channel. I got 50 subscribers since I started the channel 4 months ago. Because they censor me. What am I going to do? I'm going to get upset about it? That kind of stuff you can't do anything about. And if I did, believe me, you'd read about it. But it's not worth it. So, but you people out there, you think I think a certain way. I don't think like you. I don't think like you. Richard, you think you're funny. You think you're funny. The slob thinks he's funny. The creep that lives in the closet, he thinks he's a tough guy and he's funny. I got news for you. It ain't funny. I don't find it funny. And, but I would find it funny if you came here and started screaming in the middle of the street. That I would find hilarious. Because I don't fear you. So when Scott said, my philosophical point of view is different than yours, I don't believe in death. That was the first time I died. And there was a premonition by my dad just 3 nights before that. When I asked my dad in Times Square store, we were on a platform. We were eating Frankfurters. And I asked my dad, I asked, do you think I could use the Panasonic SC990 stereo system before Christmas? And she said, you'll have to ask your dad. So I did. And he said, well, I guess so. You could be dead before Christmas. 3 days later, that's where I died. So the only premonition my dad ever had in his entire life was saying that I guess you could be dead by Christmas. And where he was standing was, 3 days later, I was 3 minutes away from death. My back was slashed open, blood was flowing down to the bottom level of the store, the 13 steps. So, and the cop, wasn't on that platform. I was not there for 30 seconds, and the police arrived. And there was I lost 1/3 of my blood, and I knew I was going to die. So my dad had the only premonition of his life, and it was that I could be dead. And 3 days later, I was dying where he was standing in a public building miles from our house. It shouldn't happen. So is there psychic phenomena? Yes. Is there premonitions? Yes. Is there death? Yes, you die. I guarantee that if you get killed, you're going to die. I mean, that shit happens all the time. But I mean, is there life after death? Well, for me, there was. That was the first time. The second time was I was alone the second time. I willed myself back into my body. I don't want to tell you how I got out of my body, but believe me, it was a mess. So you people, you don't scare me at all. Nothing scares me. So my philosophical point of view, I gave that to you in a nutshell. And my book should have been more famous. Now, I'm going to tell you a true story about Bob Cosberg. Bob Cosberg, C-O-S-B-E-R-G. Bob Cosberg. I sent him my book. He was the front man for Steven Spielberg. He was the guy that looked for ideas for Steven Spielberg and other people to make movies or write stories about, playwrights and stuff like that. He said to me that you're going to be rich in 3 days. When I told him what the concept was, I told him how to buy a copy of the book, and he got an electronic version of the book. And he said to me, you're going to be rich in 3 days. Just don't sell this to anybody else. And he says, I'll call you back in 3 days. I'm going to run this by some people. And he was literally, Bob Cosberg was the front man for Steven Spielberg and others. And he called me back 3 days later and said, Michael, they're probably going to kill you. He says, if you continue with your videos and stuff like that, they'll probably just kill you for this, because if it does become world renowned, they'll kill you for sure. Because he knew what I proved. I proved that In God We Trust is a lie. The God that they do believe in is satanic in nature on the dollar bill. And I also made it perfectly clear in the book and in every one of my hundreds of videos when they remove "In God We Trust" and the $1 bill from the money, the world ends. And where are we now? We're almost at total electronic currency. I was right. I've been saying it for 11 years. I said when they remove the dollar bill, now they haven't touched the dollar bill, but when they change the dollar bill, the world ends. Now, does it mean everybody in the world is going to die? No, but it means the world as we know it ends. So where are they now? They don't want to give you. We live in basically a cashless society. Dollar bills will just be bookmarks soon. And when that happens, that's the New World Order. That's the total control of the monetary system and the total regulation of everything we do for the rest of our lives. Your lives, not my life. But that's what it is. So I don't fear Richie and the slob or the little closet dweller to come and see me, or any of his family members, or any of that crap. It makes no difference to me. If they come, they don't come. That most of that stuff is in that guy's head anyway. But Richie and the slob, they got the money to come, and they might feel spunky because there's two guys now. Two. I got to tell you, I should tell you the name of the movie that reminds me of, but I won't. You don't scare me, Rich, and neither does the slob. So come. Public street. So let me just read these comments. Let's see. How do we? Oh, I have to change. I have to actually go to open up another tab. Okay, I'll do that. Hold on a second. I'll look. I haven't seen if there's any comments because I'm not on my alpha mail. So. I'm going there now. So what do you think that the second channel I named the Alpha Male channel for? Because I'm more of an alpha male. You know, you read all these stories in the books and the movies, and Al Pacino was a tough guy, and Al Pacino was a piece of crap. I met him also. He's a little man. He's a cow. He's not even much of a man. There's a lot of things I could tell you about some of the guys I met, the movie stars. They're not real. These guys don't go out and get into real fights. They don't do real stuff. And they got hundreds of people backing them up. I'm real. I do real stuff. You guys are a bunch of cowards. Where is the stuff that you guys did? And don't tell me that you were in the military unless you have confirmed, and I don't mean shots from a rifle from 100 feet away. I mean, unless you have confirmed hand kills, you don't impress me at all. Not one bit. Not one bit. So I'm going to go over here. We're going to look at this barge dragon. We'll look at the So I'm going to go over here. We're going to look at yeah, you guys, you're barking up the wrong tree. So please come in the dark. It don't matter. It don't matter. It don't make no difference. So, but thanks for the laugh. Okay, Scott says no tickets is impressive, but you can't. But you can control how you follow the law. Without an accident is amazing. Not only ensuring you pay attention and don't make mistakes, but account for others' stupidity. So that's what I found amazing. Even 250,000 miles, because the box is 53 feet, I think, and then you have the cab, which is probably another 27 feet. So you're talking about a 70-foot rig. All documented, big company. So you don't have to. If you tell me something, Spanky, I know it's true, and so I know you for a very long time, and I thank you for all that you've done. Michael was probably one of the crane operators that the ground crew begged to work with. Better for lifespan. Yeah, in all the years I did what I did for wherever I did it. I had other guys come on my job. Well, in the union, there's crane operators. Now, most of the union crane operators, they were professional crane operators. But I've seen a crane operator make a mistake. Not the guy who got flattened out by the road flag steel. That was 10 foot by like 16, 18, 20 feet long. The guy was this thick when the steel fell on him, but not that guy. But that same guy, Charlie, he made a mistake one day. He took his foot on the ocean. We use live boom, live wire cranes. That means that the drums that stop the 1 and 2 wire when you put your foot on the brake, it's not a hydraulic motor that pays out the cable. The drum is a freewheeling drum, and there's a reason for that. On the ocean, things have to happen fast, or things happen fast. So you could use a hydraulic crane if it's a small crane on a big barge, but it's just not good. It's just not the same when you're doing pile driving with live leads and stuff like that. Anyway, Charlie, for whatever reason, his foot, he lost consciousness. He had a brain fart. He sneezed. He was picking up an air winch. An air winch to you might be, something this big, but the air winch that he was picking up was several thousand pounds, and it was about the size of a refrigerator. And he had it up. I saw him pick it up. We were working on a big car float, 60 feet wide, 150 feet long, maybe longer. And he picked up the load, and I walked around the load. You don't walk under a load. Now, I was already past where the cab of the crane was, and the barge went like that. And when I turned around, the air winch was through the deck. It went right through. It was like a half-inch plate deck, and it was just sticking out a little bit. So he made a mistake. You only get to make a few of those, and I don't think he got in trouble for it, but he did make a mistake. I never made a mistake like that. Never. I never. Nothing ever. Wires broke, and shackles snapped, but I never took my foot off the brake. Now, I don't know how that happened, but that did happen. So if there was a choice for me or Charlie to be in the crane, they wanted me in the crane. Now, on my barge, I had people that said, yeah, I'm a crane operator, and I let them go in the cab 45 seconds, get out. You're not a crane operator. They were going to figure it out. I said, you're not I'm the one that's going to be down there. You're not figuring nothing out. I'll run the crane. You be low. We call it low water man. But yeah, I am very good at what I do, and whatever I do, I'm very good at. So, I never had an accident with the backhoe in Key Largo. Never broke anything. Never busted anybody's railing or anything like that. Never had an accident with the Bobcat. So, let me read these comments. But other people do. And that's because I never drank alcohol. And everybody that ever had an accident, they were all drinkers of alcohol. Michael has an entirely different understanding of what life and death constitute in this plane. This plane is you're just passing through. Now, if you really want to get through it all, stand in front of the house and I'll tell you the story. And I think he genuinely has no hesitation to do whatever he wishes, regardless if death may result. I risk my life every day up on the roof. I can have a heart attack in the sun. I'm only home now where the doctor requested that until the back of my leg heals up properly, to not work outside, so I don't scrape it or damage it. So I've been trying to do what he requested to do, and also to keep my leg elevated. So my leg is now up on on a platform underneath my desk, elevated. So because and I take my medicine on time. Yeah, the iced tea. I take my and I have other stuff to do. Yesterday I told you I'm going to be getting ready to move this house soon, so I could move the container, so I could start building the hotel. Now this morning I spent 2 hours looking for a tool. I'm still looking for a rebar tire. Can't find one that they will ship me. So I'm probably going to have it shipped into America and then shipped to the Philippines. It's okay, but I can't find a rebar bender and I can't find a rebar tying tool here. Nobody that has it answers their email or their telephone. Well, I called up the woman that had the rebar bender, the rebar cutting tool, the rebar tying tools, both of them, 50 rolls of wire, the vibrator and the concrete vibrator and the concrete vibrator, electric and gas, concrete. I'll have a detailed list I'll send you. She never sent me anything. She hasn't answered 3 emails and 100 phone calls that I just pushed the button in the middle of the night hoping it rings to wake her up, but I think she has me blocked. And I told her the prices are good. I'll come to Manila and buy that stuff. Just let me know when. And she never answered me. So I do a lot of stuff. I do more stuff in a day than when you guys are retired. You don't have to do anything. You just go collect your money and you drink all day, right? What else do you do? Do you go? I don't know if Richie goes scuba diving. I know the slob doesn't go scuba diving because he doesn't even go in the water. And that's just like the other creep. The other creep doesn't go in the water either. He stands at, look at this beautiful place where I live. Look at this beautiful beach. But he doesn't go in the water. What's the point? He looks at life through my eyes. He's living life. Right now, he's watching me. He's living his life vicariously through Michael Fazio. He has no life, and tomorrow he may have less of a life. He might be a happy man tomorrow. He might not. But he brought that on himself. But so I'm trying to stay away from that topic. We'll see what happens. But that guy, he lives his life. His life is YouTube. Some people say, you're always on YouTube. Yeah, I have. If I showed you what my leg looked like 6 months ago and how much better it is now and how much I want it to get better, but I won't, because you'll have this piece of garbage named Richie making fun of it. And you are a piece of garbage, Rich. Oh, did I tell you that's a public street out there, Rich? I'll tell you that you're a piece of garbage to your face. Don't be afraid. It's just words. You are a piece of garbage, Rich. And the guy who you defend and hang out with and you act all tough that you're coming, he's a piece of garbage too. In fact, all 3 of you, and the closet dweller, you're all in the same area of garbage for different reasons. The garbage men of YouTube. And believe me, I'll say that to you. Believe me when I tell you, I'm going to say it to you. And then we're going to go to plan B. So, there is a theory of abundance. If one is in touch with what they want from the universe will provide your desires. Yes, I agree with that. So that's why I'm not upset that I live in this little house. In fact, I kind of like it a little bit. I enjoy the view. I enjoy that there's no crime. I enjoy it's cheap to live here. I enjoy being able to work every day that I want to work. Spanky said it. Well, you got the life. If you want to work, you work. If you want to not work, you don't work. If you want to go swimming, well, now I can't go swimming. But he did say it, and that's true. If I want to go swimming, I go swimming. I don't have to wear a mask or a face diaper here. They don't push that issue. If the police come and see me or anybody else without a face diaper, they go like this. And then you take it out of your pocket and put it on. Nobody gets tickets or anything like that. I kind of like it here. And the house is small. And remember, I had in Key Largo, all I did was work on the crap I owned. All I did was, the machine was always breaking down. I mean, for every 100 hours you put on the machine, you're going to spend 20 hours of maintenance. Whatever, it comes out to that. And that includes, a couple hours a month to go get fuel. And then I had a backhoe, I had a bobcat, I had a drill rig, I had a dump truck, I had a 1976 Ford van, I had a 1994 Ford car, I had a Cobra Mustang, I had an SR311 Formula Thunderbird Ocean Racer, and I had a 23-foot Anna Capri. And all those things had motors and hydraulics in them and batteries. I had 56 tires on my property, from the trailers and the cars and the spare tires. I had a flat on average every other day with something went flat when I was using my equipment. I don't have any of that stuff now, and I like it like that. And so I'm not bitter about living in this place. My place with my view, you hear people go, look at that shack. Yeah, but I live 90 seconds from the ocean. I can go in the water when my leg is better. But I'm still 90 seconds away from a white sand beach. Where do you people live? You live that you're making fun of me. You got the slob, he lives in a hotel. Okay, he got money. Beautiful hotel, by the way. Beautiful view. But where is Richie? I don't know where Richie is. Richie, why don't you tell me where you live? Or make a video of where you live, the front of your house. Let's see where you live. You may live in a nice wooded area. You might live near a beach, but let's see where you live. You don't have to show street signs or anything like that. Show us where you live, Rich. Show us something personal about you, because I'm going to show them something personal when you get here. It's going to be real personal. But show us where you live. Sure. So you have, when I go like this, I'm looking at a white sand beach and an ocean. Do you do that? No. You might have a beautiful car. I had a beautiful car already. I had a Cobra Mustang, brand new out of the factory. Had an Ocean Racer. Had other boats. Had an inflatable with a 5-horse engine on it. I could do that too. I went scuba diving whenever I wanted to go scuba diving. I had lobsters right under my dock. I already had all of that. I don't care about that anymore. I'm just going to build a hotel to keep me occupied. Not because I have to build a hotel to live somewhere. I could go someplace and live someplace and not work. But I like working. It keeps me busy. Idle hands are the devil's playground, So that's the way I believe in life. So if you don't believe in life after death, Rich, the slob, if you don't believe in life after death, then you're a coward. That's why you're a coward, because you think that you're going to die when you die. You're a coward. That's why you and the slob are cowards. That's why you'll never come, because you fear death. You're a coward, Rich. And so are all the other guys. Notice that there's silence in the YouTube community. When a big event happened last week in the YouTube community, notice the silence. Everybody just dropped off the face of the earth. There were a bunch of... When the time to act is upon us, they all just dropped off. Because this guy has a propensity to get away with just about everything he does, and it might happen again tomorrow. We don't know, but one can only hope that it doesn't, because then you'll have to hear him. Nobody ever got me off YouTube. I'm not guilty. I never did anything wrong. The man is a very sick and disturbed individual, in my opinion. But eventually, it'll get taken care of one way or the other. There are also other venues that are being addressed. There are other venues that are being addressed. So let's see. Okay, so we're done with that conversation. Iced tea, sugar, and cocoa powder. That water out of that container, I don't even know why it tasted like metal. It had a plastic innard, but at some point, somebody probably left metal in the container, and the rust taste went into the container. It was what it was. didn't kill me. All right, so let me see. First of all, I got windows open that you can't see. That you should not be able to see. And I am doing things with people, and I have files open. Oh, well, I think I was okay, that file needs to get closed. And it won't close. Okay, why won't it close? Okay, it closed. All right, the other ones I don't care about. Okay, so the dollar to peso. I was right. I think I was right. On Friday, the dollar reached 50.51, and I'm looking now, it's 50.44. I got it somewhere around 50.35, I think. And I think the peso to dollar is going to start to go down on the 19th. I said that it would start to go down, and it did. Yesterday, it was 50.36. I think that the dollar is going to go down and it's never going to come back up. And if it does, it'll be around January 6th. That would be another high point, my opinion. So, I mean, I have a feeling for certain things. Like, I have a feeling I could teach you, if you listen to me long enough, about life after death and my philosophy, because my philosophy is sound. And then, of course, there's always plan B. So, sleep apnea. Yeah, that guy only he already took 7 to 10 years off his life, plus the drinking, plus the Viagra. He's on a death wish. He's on a suicide mission. But, you know, the sad part about it is, how many different women has he been with and given or gotten possibly some sort of weird, disease? That's really sad and the girls don't care anyway. The girls know that what they're doing is disgusting, in my opinion. Who in their right mind would go out with a prostitute? I could see. I guess I could see getting serviced by a prostitute when you're 18 years old, 20 years old, but not kissing them. That's crazy shit, man. That's crazy. Kissing a prostitute, really? God almighty, that's sick. I got to get back to the video, the Barge Dragon video. So let me go here. Barge Dragon lost at sea. I'll let you watch a little more of this. I got to get something to drink. So we are ready for the continuation of this. That's Barge Dragon lost at sea. That's the live stream. Okay. Captain Michael Fazio. Captain Michael Fazio. And I am a captain. So that's another thing that you guys have. Where are your licenses, your federal and state licenses, that you could show that you've done something? All right, back to the video.
Wash. Today would be a good day to do wash. It's raining out. Now the sun's coming out. I don't think it knows what it wants to do either. Well, I will leave you now. You've now had 12 minutes of refueling, which is more than enough. Anyone who looks at this tape and thought that I have possibly lost my mind, you're incorrect. I have never been in more control of all my faculties. This place makes you alive. One mistake, just any one mistake, and you have had it. So you either pay attention or you are up Schitt's Creek without a paddle. So my mind is very clear. I don't know why I'm here. Oh yes, I do know why I'm here, ladies and gentlemen. When I was on the Albemarle Sound, I had a book that told me where the Intercoastal was. And the Intercoastal on the Albemarle Sound were very plainly stated, follow the buoys. But it didn't show you that there's two sets of buoys. And in the fog, the first set of buoys was the wrong set of buoys, and those are the ones I followed. And that's why I'm on the Pamlico Sound, because the buoys on the Albemarle Sound to go to Alligator River, to go to Alligator Alley, they're every 5 miles apart. And the buoys to go to Pamlico Sound, they're every 3 miles apart. And I never did see that 5-mile buoy and veered off to follow the 3-mile buoy instead of following the 5-mile buoy, because the buoy system in North Carolina sucks. Well, that's where that light post, that open water light post was yesterday. But as you can see, visibility is less than 200 feet. Now I am here once again today, December 29th. Probably going to be here till after New Year's the way things look. Waiting for the weather to clear. All I can say is the weather in Virginia and North Carolina sucks. For 10 days now, except for 3 hours, 2 afternoons ago, it has been raining, foggy, or so cloudy you couldn't see 500 feet. I can't believe this. And here I am again, under advisement from the United States Coast Guard to stay put, because this is as close as they can figure where I am, is at the mouth of the Pamlico Sound by Cape Lookout. And they'd like me to stay here because we have severe weather warnings, gale force winds, hurricane possibilities tonight. And if I can't get out of here, they want to know about where I am so that they can come and save me again. And believe me, I will need saving, according to that weather report. There's my gang box once again, all mushed up. I fixed it twice. I'm not fixing it no more. Apparently that's where it wants to live, because it's been through 3 storms and ended up in that same exact situation 3 times. My life raft, hope I don't need that damn thing, because 50 years it lasted, and now it's nothing but a bunch of snotted up, busted up old ropes with no bottom. I made it look like it has a bottom by tying it with 2 pieces of line, because the Coast Guard wants me to have a life raft on board. And I have to agree with them. This is the type of place you'd need a life raft. Now underneath this plank is a very interesting thing. It's called a hole. Probably not going to be able to see it. Yeah, you can see it. Well, right there is the same thing as right there. That's a metal strap. Now there used to be a metal strap underneath that piece of plywood, but now it's no longer there. It's over here. Now in order for that metal strap to get from right here, to there, right there, that's a good 11 feet away, and it's underneath 2 pieces of steel I-beams that are joined with a cross member that have at least 3,000 pounds of weight on them at the time that got bounced around. Now that metal strap broke out from underneath there, and then that piece of steel with all the weight on it of the bucket and lumber and poles that I had on the barge that disappeared in the storm, and part of the weight of the welder from the being tied down. That piece of that big I-beam, this I-beam right here, boom, right there, that connected to that with that cross member there, bounced up and down on the deck enough to get that piece of strap underneath there, and it bounced right underneath there. So that means it had to bounce at least 12.5 inches high from wave power, my friends. That's the kind of stuff that I was out in, and that's what's coming tomorrow morning. Again, it's dead calm now. I think it's the calm before the storm. Now, each one of these lines from the last storm had something attached to it. One had part of the mat attached to it. One had the, oh, by the way, this piece of steel walked its way off the barge, down there, and then 3 feet further, so it walked 6 feet in the storm. Yeah. Anyway, those ropes each had something attached to it, either a buoy, a buffer, this piece of steel, something. And now, as you can see, it's nothing more than a bunch of snot. And that's my next project, to unsnot this cleat. Because the Coast Guard, they're very helpful, but a tidy ship is a good ship. Now, all these lines are $5 a foot, or more, some of them. That's braided 1-inch line, and you can see it's braided all right. Looks like somebody designed it. I'm going to put that around the bar in my living room if I ever get back to dry land. My muffler? Ha! Storm damage. Can't even begin to tell you what kind of waves were hitting this. It polished the motors. Steven, if you ever get to see this tape, remember all that stuff that was underneath that grill? Well, it is all gone. You know how come it's all gone? Because waves washed over the back of the barge and hit here and knocked it all out. My battery box has been reinstalled 3 times as of day before yesterday. All of this, this is real interesting, folks. The waves keep washing over the stern of my deck and going into my hatches. And then I have to go down into the hatch, that hatch there, and another one on the other side, and bail it out. And that is a pain in the butt, especially in the middle of a storm. Otherwise, the barge sinks. Not sinks, but goes down below the water level. Then the waves come over twice as fast. It makes it even harder to bail out. So this wood here, this is a barricade, steel wood barricade, plywood, battery box barricade, rubber barricade, steel barricade, and rope barricade. On the other side of the rope, we have more rope barricade, then 3x10 tongue and groove lumber, plywood barricade, rope, rubber, and miscellaneous stuff barricade on this side. On this side, we have 12x12 battery barricade. We have a battery of batteries barricading that hatch right there. This is fun. And on the other side of the battery barricade, we have what's left of my work table. Thank God I didn't throw that out. That piece of steel, wherever that came from, that stops a lot of water, folks. That might not look like much of a piece of steel, but that's a water-stopping piece of steel if ever there was one. And that plywood, don't put any less faith in that piece of plywood. That's a water-stopping piece of plywood if ever there was one. This pipe stops a lot of water. Now let's get a look at it from the front end. This is just a piece of plywood on the deck, but you could be looking at the next barricade, folks. You never know what it's going to be tomorrow. You only know what it was today. See, that's my barricade. Pipe, hose, gang box. Oh, the sun's coming out. That's wonderful. Let's see. Ah! And look who it is. It's Mr. Open Water Marker. Yes, visibility is now 1/2 of a mile. For the first time in 2 days. I like it. Let's get back to the barricade. That means I'll be able to leave here soon, maybe. I think even the wind is blowing in my direction. Let's see, there's the pilot house. What's left of it? Barricade. We have plywood, 6x6, barricade, rope. Rope is just in case we have to tie something off in the middle of something. That's what's holding the crane down. You might not think that that's holding the crane down, but in the storm the other day, the crane was trying to roll itself back into the pilot house and smash the motors. But this, and another one on the other side, and another third one on the side after that, was holding it back. Yes, this has become me. And to look at me, you might not want to do this, but where's the sun? Sun's gone. That's me. Yep, that's me. I ain't looking like much. Haven't had a bath except for a sea bath 3 nights ago, and that was cold. I don't really feel like doing that again. Haven't had a bath in 10 days now. My nose hasn't stopped running either in about 10 days now. And I have just about had enough of the Pamlico Sound and this open water stuff. This open water stuff might be for the birds, but let me tell you something. Let me tell you a little story. If you look very carefully, if there was going to be a bird, it would be on a structure in the middle of the ocean. But there ain't no birds out here because the birds know that there's a Class 2, possibly Class 3 storm coming tomorrow, and that they shouldn't be out this far. And only the birds know that because I am out here, which means that I don't know that I shouldn't be here. Although I do know it, but there's nothing I can do about it. These are my Everlast sneakers. Thank God they Everlast, because you can't see it, but they've been melted 3 times. See these lines here? That line there, and that line there, and that line. That was the first time. Then this big chunk right here, that was the second time. That was the second time that it got melted. And the third time it got melted was up here last night on the Light of the Lord. The only thing that's really working well is a Coleman lantern I found in the garbage about 10 years ago. And I call it the Light of the Lord because it's my only light at night. And it's been drying my socks, pants, hat, shirt, and everything else for the last 5 days. Why? I don't know. Now, if you'll excuse me, yes, we still have visibility. This is the Pamlico Sound. PS, see the PS on there? The PS Papaciata. There's the Pamlico Sound open water marker, and I got to find out from the Coast Guard where I am so I may leave. Have a nice day. December 29th, 1998 at 12:43.
Northwest wind 25 to 30 knots and gusty. Seas 5 feet, building to 6 feet. The coastal marine forecast from south of Cape Hatteras to north of Surf City, North Carolina out 20 nautical miles. Small craft advisory conditions likely late tonight. This afternoon, north wind 15 knots or less, becoming southwest late. Seas 3 feet. Scattered showers.
I'm in the Pamlico Sound.
Southwest wind 20 knots, becoming northwest 25 knots late. Seas 4 feet. Scattered evening showers.
This is about
Wednesday, northwest wind 25 to 30 knots and gusty. Seas 5 feet, building to 6 feet.
10 miles from me.
The extended marine forecast. Thursday, wind 15 to 20 knots. Seas 4 to 5 feet, 30 to 40 knots. Seas building to 6 to 12 feet. Seas 8 to 14 feet. High tide 4:28 a.m. Wednesday. Low tide 10:56 a.m. Wednesday.
He just said seas, 18 feet seas, right where I am now.
This is National Weather Service radio station KIG 77. Operating on the frequency of 162.475 megahertz. This broadcast
Here comes the Pamlico Sound information
Newport, North Carolina.
right after he's done with this nonsense.
Facility is located at Lexington on Hatteras Island. conditions around the local area. At noon, Landio reported fog, reducing visibility to a mile and 3/4. The temperature was 48. The wind was west at 3 miles an hour. Norfolk, Virginia reported light rain and fog, reducing visibility to 1/2 of a mile. The temperature was 43. The wind was calm. At 12 noon, at the Newport Weather Office, the temperature was 48. The wind was north at 4 knots with cloudy skies. The winds at Cedar Island raised at 3 knots and the temperature was 47. At Montrose Inlet, winds were north at 3 knots with the temperature of 47. North Topsail Beach winds were northeast at 4 knots and the temperature was 50. The winds at Ocracoke were north at 3 knots with a temperature of 48. For the offshore buoy reports, at Chesapeake White, winds were calm. The temperature was 48. Seas were 3 feet every 6 seconds. Diamond Shoals winds were from the north at 7 knots. The temperature was 53. Seas were 5 feet every 11 seconds. At Cape Lookout, winds were north at 8 knots. The temperature was 49. Winds at Flying Pan Shoals were north at 7 knots. The temperature was 64. Seas were 3 feet every 11 seconds. And winds at the Data Buoy 15 miles east.
Okay, so at some point in that weather report, I might have skipped forward. Seas building to 18 feet, and that would be what the Coast Guard was warning me about. So when the Coast Guard said, I was a bad boy, Coast Guard said, you stay there right where you are. And this way we'll know where to come if we have to. And I said, you know what? I'm leaving. I've had enough of this place. And then I got stuck right outside Odin's dock. And the Coast Guard came. Oh, God, were they mad? Oh, they were mad. Oh, they were freaking... Because if I was going to be in 18-foot seas, what do I got? The last time I was in 18-foot seas, my rock wouldn't hold the barge. And even if I threw the welder overboard with the rock, it wouldn't be enough to stop the barge from moving in a direction towards shore, maybe. I don't know. You know, there's no way of knowing. And what if the boom on the crane breaks from the seas? Or what if the crane breaks loose, breaks the binding that I have that's holding down the crane? I think I don't actually remember why I left. They may have given me permission, but either way, when they found me, again, oh, they were really pissed off. Oh, I think I left without permission. Because I figured, well, I'll just go. That's, according to my map, Cape Hatteras was in that direction. The reason I wasn't underway at that point, the wind was just blowing out of the wrong direction. The barge only went 3 miles an hour, 4 miles an hour. It wasn't like a race car or anything like that. And there's channels that you have to follow, and I didn't have a GPS. So every 5 miles or 10 miles, I'd run aground, and it would take an hour to get off the sandbar, the sandbar that I hit. And I was running out of fuel. I was running out of patience. I was running out of energy. I just wanted to leave. So I left. I'm pretty sure I left without permission. And then the Coast Guard... I went to Odin's dock to get fuel. And the Coast Guard came, and they told me to follow them. I fueled up at Odin's dock. And the Coast Guard came, and they told me to follow them back to wherever their Coast Guard station was. And it was like 10 o'clock at night. And I said, well, I'll just stay here. No, you have to follow us. So when I left Odin's dock, my fuel filters clogged up again. And the barge got grounded on the sandbar right outside Odin's dock. That's the one where you'll see that I'm all I have to do is go, just give me a line to the Coast Guard, just throw me a line and tow me 150 feet, because I changed the fuel filters when I got grounded. I threw my rock overboard and it stopped me from moving around so much, but I was grounded because the tide was going out. So the barge was getting beat up. Boom, 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 boom. And the Coast Guard said, no, you stay there. I said, just throw me a line, Brent. No, we're not going to do that because you don't listen. So they wouldn't give me a line. So they left. And they said, you stay right there. And I said, yeah, okay. I'm just going to let my barge get beat up on grounded, because that's the thing that screws up any boat is hard bottom. And sand is hard bottom. So they left, and I spent the night there because it was calm. It did calm down. So I figured, well, all right, I'll listen to them. But then the next day it got really rough. So I turned the propeller down, face down. I think I have video of this somewhere. And I got off the sandbar. And this was New Year's Eve at in the afternoon. I don't know what time it was. And I went back into harbor, safe harbor. Oh boy, were they pissed off. They were somehow they knew. I mean, it's a barge. Somebody called them up and told them that the guy's in safe harbor. So I didn't take a video of this. I should have, but there were 18 Coast Guard men crawling around my barge making videos. And now they used my barge in their schools. You know, what could go wrong, what did go wrong with the towing. The towing operation that happened on December 15th, that's all documented. Coast Guard, the boat, Port Huron, it's all a documented event. Barge Dragon, Michael Fazio. So you people, and by the way, if Barge Dragon, Michael Fazio is listed as the owner of the barge. So Coast Guard does not list the owner of the barge without proof that I owned the barge. At that time, I had proof, paperwork with the barge, so that I didn't steal the barge. So I stayed. Dan Odin, the father, he came because where I ported the boat, he told me where to put the barge. And that was by his fish house, about a couple of 400 or 500 feet from the restaurant. And he said to me, he goes, come on, we'll go back to Odin's Dock is a major tourist attraction. He's got the nicest restaurant in Cape Hatteras. He's got the best docks. He owns all the docks in the area there. And he has a place that you're going to see the guy in the next part of the video, the guy that fixes the fishing reels. He fixes reels that are like this big, that they catch the big game fish with and stuff like that. Odin's Dock is a Class A operation. And I got in there, into the store, and I forgot the guy's name. I really shouldn't forget his name, but it's 20 years ago. He goes to me. He said, when was the last time you took a bath? I says, been about 10 or 12 days. He goes, you need to go take a bath, dude. So I said, I know, but where can I take a bath? And Dan, he owns the campgrounds there also. Dan Odin, from the owner of Odin's Dock, he owns a huge camping site, huge, where they have tents and they have cabins and all that stuff like that. And he put me in his car and he turned on the hot water and to the campground because it was closed for the winter. And he said, just wait about 10 minutes and you'll have hot water. I took a bath. I was probably in there. I was in there a long time. I was filthy. I had kerosene in my hair, in between my feet, my shoes. Everything smelled like kerosene. I was a mess. So it took a long time to get clean. What presence of mind you had to video and document all this priceless experience. Haha, your ordeal was useful as of what not to do scenario in the Coast Guard classes. No, really, they really did use it. They told me they were going to use it for that. There's only one Michael Fazio. That's true. I'm sure that those men that came out, that they didn't, even the Coast Guard didn't want to come out to collect my barge, to save my barge, or me. They said, and I said it in yesterday's, 2 days ago's video, they wanted to let the barge go on the rocks, take me off the barge, or I could get commercial assistance. But commercial assistance wouldn't even think about going out in that weather. So, I'm here. I made it. But and the reason I had the camera, I had back in 1988, if you remember, there were no video cameras back then. There were, and I had one, and I have a lot of videos of me passing Atlantic City, passing the Verrazano Bridge. I bought $1,000 camera. $1,000 camera I bought. And I wasn't... I didn't get... wasn't... Which camera was that? I'm trying to think of which camera it was. Anyway, I wanted to document the trip because in 1988, there were no cameras. There were no video cameras. I have pictures. And there is video, a little bit of video from Port Austin because Bruce, who owned a huge marina in Port Austin, he had a video camera. So the video you see in Port Austin is somebody else. But I didn't have a video camera back then, and I really wished I could have videotaped a few things on the way back from Port Austin, because I went down the Detroit Straits where the current flows at several knots, and the big ships were passing me by at like 18 or 20 knots, and the vortex from the ship was turning the barge, spinning the barge around like a styrofoam cup in the wind on the water. And I had to put the propeller in reverse, full speed, just to keep the barge straight. But when the ships passed me, it created a vortex and the barge would spin around. And the ships will run right after the other. That would have been something I wanted to videotape. And also there was a river I went down. I don't remember the name of the river. But it said that the height of the river is going to drop several feet before you come into the next clearing. Well, in the beginning, once you get into the river, there's no turning back. The current is moving faster than the barge moves. But the current was moving at 12, 13 miles an hour. And the barge was... I had to turn the propeller around just to keep the back of the barge from... The barge was spinning around in the river. And the thing about that river was it wasn't deep. There were spots that were only 6, 7 feet, 5 feet. And when the barge hit one of those, the barge would go boom, 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 boom. And I was trying to hold the barge straight, with putting the propeller in reverse and running the barge at 12 miles an hour. I felt like I was flying. That was the most refreshing and energizing part of the trip. And it was just like something that should have been documented, but I couldn't. I didn't have a camera. But if I had a camera, it would have been, a classic Fazio. But the second time I wanted to have a camera, and actually, did have a camera, and there was something about I had a camera that broke and I got it fixed somehow. I had to mail it back and then find out where my next port was going to be. And the woman, Eileen, that I was dating at the time, she took the camera and she didn't bring it where she was supposed to bring it, when she was supposed to bring it, for whatever reason. And then she brought it a few days later, and then she had to mail it to she mailed it to the wrong place because I wasn't there and I don't have a phone. And then I had to call that place up, and they put the camera in the car and brought it to me for free. They knew I was only 30 or 40 miles away, but it was pretty cool. The trip was cool. It was a good experience. But when I said before, you are never more enlightened. You don't make mistakes out on the water in the winter when you're by yourself. You don't trip on something and fall down and fall off the barge. You could trip on something and fall down and die, or just be unconscious until you freeze to death, or incapacitated. But you know, it was exhilarating. It makes you, it heightens your awareness of the things around you. Okay, so let's see, Barge Dragon, see what the next part of this trip is, and let's see when it comes up on the screen. Now, these videos are, if you wanted to watch this video by itself, you can go to my homepage and put Barge Dragon in the Barge Dragon in the search engine, and it'll bring you to my Barge Dragon videos. Now, that's if you want to see what a real man does. I mean, most of you guys are a bunch of sissies. Now, I'm not breaking everybody's chops, but the guys that come on and say, he doesn't know how to use tools, and he doesn't know how to run heavy equipment, and he didn't do that. Yeah, I did everything. If I say I did it, I did it. If I tell you that I could teach you about life after death, believe me, I can teach you about life after death. I've had hundreds of hours of training about life after death. And I could give it to you from a philosophical point of view, from a religious point of view, from a theoretical, from many different points of view. All the religions of the world, most of them believe in life after death. Very few just believe you're going to die. And we could have that conversation. Rich, are you listening? I could teach you too, Rich. You want to be the smart guy. You're the guy that needs the lesson. Let me see what we got here. Okay. I don't know what the heck is going on. The last few days, people are saying, I found you again. I heard you died. Like 3 people said that today and yesterday. I thought we heard you. I'm going, what is this? That somebody, Michael Fazio's always been my name on my channel. Anyway, let's see if I'm going to go past that annoying voice. I wanted to my trip, the day I left was the day the weather report changed to that electronic voice. Okay, so I had the map here, and this is how I figured. I had a chart here, and this is how I figured where I was about the Pimlico Sound. I knew if I could find Cape Hatteras, I knew I was back somewhere with the word 15, the number 115.48. I was back in this area here somewhere. And I knew I had enough fuel to get here. So when pretty sure when I saw land, I just followed land until there's 7 sticks, 7 pressure-treated sticks with a placard on them, green or red, that's outside Odin's dock. That brings you into the harbor. That I remember. Okay, so let's go.
40%. Tonight, 50% chance of rain through midnight. Otherwise mostly cloudy. Becoming breezy towards morning. Low in the mid-40s. Northwest wind around 10 miles an hour, increasing to 15 to 20 miles an hour rate. Wednesday, partly cloudy, windy and cooler. High around 50. For locations north and west of Brixton, including afternoon, cloudy with patchy fog and a chance of an hour. Chance of rain 30%. Tonight, 30% chance of rain until midnight. Otherwise mostly cloudy and becoming breezy. Increasing to 15 to 20 miles an hour rate. Low in the lower 40s. West wind near 10 miles an hour. Wednesday, partly cloudy, windy and cooler. High in the upper 40s. New Year's Day forecast. Partly cloudy. High in the 40s. The extended forecast. Partly forecast for day tonight.
Enough of that.
18 knots. 3 feet 5 to the south of Currituck Beach.
Pamlico Sound.
In other words, it was going to rain forever in Pamlico Sound. It's the worst weather I ever seen in my life. I mean, from the 15th to the time I got off the Pamlico Sound, which was sometime around January 7th or 8th, the sun never came out. It was winter, but I mean, you got to remember, I had already lived in Florida for 5 years, and in New York in the winter we used to get sunny days once in a while, a couple times a week, but this sun never came out like shining where you could see your shadow. What a pain in the neck.
In the North Atlantic Ocean.
Becoming southwest wind.
Yep. Tommy, you can see what's happening to your pumpkin. I don't think it's going to take another storm.
Ah!
We're cooking lunch.
We're cooking lunch, baby. Cooking with jelly.
We're stuck on Cape Hatteras. Right, Hatteras. Well, we're cooking lunch. Well, we're cooking lunch. We're cooking lunch. Well, we're cooking lunch. We're stuck on Cape Hatteras. Right about 75 feet out of the channel. And the reason why we're stuck 75 feet out of the channel is because the Coast Guard would not throw me a line at 3 o'clock in the morning and move me from where I am right now into that little slit right there. And at the time I was about 75 feet away from that. Why they wouldn't move me, I have no idea. I asked them for assistance. They were escorting me in. I've got fuel. I came back out of that slip. My filter's clogged. I asked them for a line, and they left. They just left. They didn't even say. They just said, I got to go back to base. See you later. And they came back like an hour later. They would not throw me a line. I don't even want to discuss it. So here I am, another day stuck a couple of 100 feet from nowhere in Cape Hatteras making lunch. Now that may not look like much, and it doesn't, but it's my lunch. It's ham and potatoes. And this is where I'm stuck, right here. 150 feet from a safe harbor. Right on the other side of those rocks is a safe harbor. 150 feet away from here, there's a safe harbor right there.
You got to understand now, it was, I think it was December 30th. So it was the day before New Year's, and I didn't want to be there. And the Coast Guard said for me to stay there, and I said, nah, I don't want to. I can see shore. I can see where I want to be. I don't want to be here, I don't want to spend New Year's 100 feet away from shore. When I went into the harbor, boy, did they get pissed off. Oh, they were livid. We told you to stay. I go, yeah, okay. Do what you got to do. Do your inspection and get off my barge. And the thing, you know what, the one thing that I found really interesting is they were very professional about the whole thing. And like nobody actually got upset. You know, Mr. Fazio, we told you to stay put. Like nobody was yelling or screaming. I said, look, dude, man, I've been on this barge now for 15 days. I need a bath. I'm hungry. I'm cold. I don't want to spend New Year's. They understood, but they got this thing in their head with the rules. Like now with the rules for the mask and the shields, you got to wear it. People, otherwise you get in trouble. But they have so many rules in the Coast Guard. Oh, God, wait till you see the rest of this.
Yeah, right there is safe. And I was in there last night and asked them if I could stay in there, and they said no. They wanted me to come back to their base so they could check out my vessel further. Like, what are they going to do now? God only knows. The United States Mafia at its full potential probably coming down. They broke out the big gun. They got him out of bed at 2 o'clock in the morning to come see them escort me in. Oh my God, what a mess. And they talk to each other, but they won't tell you what's going on. They tell you we'll be right back, and then they come back and they tell you that this is wrong, and then they leave, and then 6 more people discuss something else, and then they say, and that's wrong, and you're supposed to have a placard for the oil discharge in the engine room, like I got an engine room. Let me get back.
Back to lunch.
Let me get back to my lunch. I'm disgusted. It's almost New Year's Eve, and here I am. Here I am. Well, here it is, folks. A few hours ago, I was on the other side of this grassy breakwall in 3-foot seas, getting beat up. The barge was getting beat up. It was grounded, but it was it was bouncing around pretty good. And now I am in this nice little cove in Cape Hatteras, wherever Cape Hatteras is, North Carolina. And Officer Nicholas has requested that I stay here in this cove. I can go up to that marina over there, and I can go back this way as far as I want. But I can't go on the outside of that break wall until all repairs are effected. And he has a list of 7 items, including lights, wiring, lashing down the equipment. He came up with some new ones too. These acetylene tanks weren't lashed down properly. They have to have wood underneath them before you can lash them down so that they don't move. Can't have the hoses hooked up to them, which means in the middle of the night, if you have to burn something, you have to take the tops off the tanks and put the hoses on. So that stuff has to be lashed down, closed up so you can't be used. You have to fix the holes in these mufflers. That's going to be a work of art. Lash down all drums, cylinders, ropes. I need a new flotation device. I need a throwing ring. Imagine this. I'm on here by myself. If I fall overboard, who's going to throw it to me? But I need one. Silly rules and regulations. This has to have a band on it like that one.
I need a bell.
And this side looks good. That side right there, that's good. This side's all good. It's this other side. I have about a day and a half of deck repairs and another day of electrical stuff. And then I should be good to go. But I'm real happy that I'm on this side of the bay, because you can't see it. But out there. I tried for 3 hours last night, 2 hours this morning, and this afternoon when the Coast Guard finally said they weren't sending me a boat, no commercial assistance, I said, this got to work. The tide came up real good. 3-4 foot waves came up. And right on the other side of this break wall, as a matter of fact, yeah, right on the right opposite from where I am is where I was in my last video. And you can see the tops of the trees, and I'll let you hear the wind for a second. That's steady 25-mile-an-hour gusts. Steady 25-mile-an-hour winds with 35-mile-an-hour gusts. At one point, it was closer to 40. That's when I got off, when it got worse. Anyway, with that, you can see my clothes are drying once again. I'm not going to show you the pilot house, because you know what that pigsty looks like. Not that it's a pigsty, but it's hard to do all of this stuff, even for me. But I won't quit. I know there is a conspiracy. Oh, there's definitely a conspiracy. When, as soon as I got off ground at about 11 o'clock this morning, the wire from the cable that was on the weight, the barge, I had it in gear, and I was trying to pull the crane around with the pull the barge around with the crane, and I looked and I seen the wire going into the wheel, and I ran down the steps over all of this stuff, and then up those steps over there, and then up into the pilot house, which you can't see, and then put it in neutral, and it only wrapped around one time. Had it wrapped around 3 times, I think I would have needed to torch it, and I would have lost my anchor. I don't know. I had an electrical fire in the pilot house this morning. When the Coast Guard boarded the vessel this afternoon, they found wires sparking on the back of the vessel that I haven't seen in 10 years. Oh, it's a conspiracy. Michael is definitely fighting the dragon. But Michael will win, because that's the way the prophecy has it in the book. Yeah, there is one more thing that I wanted to tell you about. That's where I could have spent New Year's, and this is where I am spending New Year's in a nice safe harbor. Tuck it in against this little thing. Now, about a half a mile down, there's a place I could get some, I could go to a hotel and get something to eat. I'm starting to look like my clothes here. Yeah, that ought to do it. I go out and pick up a nice girl with these hands. Say, look, babe, here's my hands. Look at these. Let me pick you up with them. Yeah, that'll do it. That's a real turn on, huh? Let's see, you get a bet.
He would have not lasted the trip. He would have quit. The closet dweller. The closet dweller wouldn't even last through 3 of those rains. Any one of the storms I went through. He's not cut out. He's not very manly. I mean, all kidding aside, most people would have quit. You know, they would have just said, if they were working for me on the barge, they'd say, Mike, I have enough. I want to go home. You know, and they'd get off at the the next boat dock. But him, I don't think he would last. I don't know. I don't imagine. I think he's afraid of the water, so I don't even imagine he would go on the water. All right, back to the
ring.
yeah. And that's not from me chewing my nails, by the way. That's the nails look like they've been chewed. I had a fungus under my nails on both hands, but not my feet. And the nails were very thin. They were not thick like regular nails. I had gotten poison from creosote lumber. And I lost half the hair in my head from the creosote years before this. And I lost my fingernails right down to the cuticles. So they never grew back right. Now they grow right, but it took like 10 years for them to grow back where there wasn't this crusty stuff under my nails. I was tipping off 70-foot creosoted poles with it was a 290 Stihl chainsaw, one of the big ones with a 36-inch bar on it. And I was in the water with 4 men, and the sawdust, we were doing it in the water, so we didn't have to breathe in the sawdust. Basically the saw chain was in the water, so the chips went in the water. But the poles were in the mud from, they were 150 years in the mud. The poles that I had gotten from this, from my dock builders union gave them to me. They took something apart in Manhattan that was 150 years old. And the creosote changed to some weird ass poison. That's the closest thing that they could come to the conclusion of. And everybody in the water, including myself, went to the hospital. There were 4 other men. One guy was a couple of guys to turn the pole. Another guy would grab the chip that I would tip the pole off and bring it over to the barge so we didn't let him float away. And another guy was standing there with gasoline and oil on a little float that I had made. We were only in 4 feet of water. But we all went to the hospital, and I got the worst of it. I lost half the hair on my head. And I lost my fingernails right down. They just disappeared right up to the quick. The quick was there, but there was no fingernail on my fingers for a long time. It took however long it took for them to grow back. And then when it grew back, they grew back really thin. This is what happened from the burn that I got, because my hands were in the water. I lost a lot of skin. I was sick for months, and in the hospital when I got out of the hospital, and then went back to the doctor for a checkup. He says, "You're done. Your body's done with creosote and the pressure-treated lumber. Sell the barge." And I did. That's why I sold the barge, because of that burn that I got. He said, you're lucky you're alive. You burnt your lungs. You burnt your fingernails. You burnt your hair. He said, because I had told him there was another problem with my hands. Whenever I used the pressure-treated lumber, my fingers would swell up twice the size of my hands. He goes, you have arsenic poisoning in your system. You need to stop using pressure-treated lumber and never cut creosoted lumber again, not without a full suit and a respirator. So he said, you're basically done. He goes, sell the barge or have somebody else run the barge. So I put the barge up for sale like a week later. And that was it. It wasn't complicated. I wasn't going to be able to do the work I love to do. And I wanted to move anyway, so it didn't matter.
Know that. Man, they are dirty. I haven't taken a...
I paused the video so the closet dweller could get a an up close and personal. You know he's going to make a video about this. I'm trying to make things easy. Look at his hands. He doesn't take a bath. Yeah, closet dweller. I can't wait. I can't wait for you to yell that stuff out at me in person next time you see me.
The bath.
Yep, there's another. Now, right now, the closet's gone. Look at this shot I got. He's rubbing one off when he's taking the screenshot of the thing. Look at him. I got him now. I'll make fun of a man's hands. And as he's rubbing one off, of course. So, it's his prerogative. I mean, if that's what he gets off on, that's why I'm stopping it, because I know he likes this weird shit.
In 10 days, except one night.
Oh, well, another. Poof. Oh, God, look at that. Look at my hands. Jeez, I was dirty. 10 days. Diesel fuel and grease every day. No place to bathe. Water was 38 degrees. Freaking, what a mess.
Seawater bath about 5 days ago. This is from the soot from the exhaust. It's all over everything. I'm getting tired of this myself. Yeah, babe. Hey, how you doing? Yeah, let me pick you up with my hands. Happy New Year. Hey. Yeah, that'll work.
Nasty.
Thank you. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Let me suck on your thumb. Oh.
So all that man I talked about who had the gas stock, Dan Odin, all of everything you see here is his house, his restaurant, his docks. And he had a really nice restaurant on site. But I went on New Year's. I did take a bath, and then I went to, I think it was Mike's Tavern. It's either Mike's Pizza or Mike's Tavern. I got a video of that. Don't really care to show it. It's just New Year's Eve with a bunch of people I never met before. And they were friendly enough, but it wasn't like spending New Year's with your friends.
Jessica J.
Customer south of Currituck Beach, right to north of 30 North Carolina, out 20 nautical miles. Smile aircraft advisory. Tonight, northwest wind 15 to 20 knots.
Okay, that's the end of the video, and I think I'm going to wrap it up myself. I have something... I have something that I need to do. I don't have to do anything, but something that I want to take care of while I have a few minutes. And then I'm going to rest. I'm sitting down, but my leg is, my leg is elevated, but I want to lay down for a while. It's a little swollen. It's getting better every day, but it's a little swollen from sitting down because I'm not moving around. And then I want to take a walk after that. So let me get over to the comments. I'll say goodbye to everybody. Yeah, a response video, what he would have done different to steer the barge out of harm's way. There wasn't anything you could do. I left. I had to get the barge ready to leave. It took 2 months. And there wasn't anything that you could do. I hit a storm. If that storm, I didn't hit that storm, it would have been clear sailing. You know, my GPS would not have broke. And, I lost my real actual Coast Guard charts in the storm. And so I only had some, not a proper nautical. I remember what I had to do, I was reading the charts for months before I left. But the night of the hurricane with the 17-foot seas, I lost a lot of stuff, including my paper chart. It blew out the window. So I didn't have a GPS and I didn't have my actual charts. Had I not hit that storm, I would have had a GPS, I would have had my chart, and I would have just followed my chart all the way down there. So, but when I lost the chart in the storm, I didn't know that the storm wasn't supposed to be a storm. The weather did not report 17-foot seas and 75-mile-an-hour winds. The weather just said that it was going to be 4 to 5 foot seas, but what happened was it turned out to be a hurricane. And yeah, the day I take advice from him would be the day I'm afraid of Richie and the slub. I'll say goodbye. Thanks for the comments. I'm Pink Permy from Michael Fazio in the Philippines. Remember, I am Mr. I was known as Mr. Congeniality, because at the end of the night, when the party was over, I turned out all the lights. Last man standing. I'm Pink Permy from the Philippines, baby.